My name is Mike SAHA, and I'm a persecuted Christian taught individual, and I'm taught with a secret persecution program called gang stalking of taught individuals, aka government gang stalking, I like to call it because that's more accurate. And one thing I'd like to get the word out about is that there's several Christian ministries that participate in the gang stalking. Do the Bible Church, Rafi Arnold, Stephen Anderson has taught me for the program, David Bursins, and the list goes on. So a lot of churches are sellouts and they're used to manipulate the body of Christ. And me being a Christian that's taught with a secret persecution program, if I subscribe to one of these sellout churches, they will start talking with what's called narcissistic always abuse tactics in the videos. Do the Bible Church on this YouTube channel, Christian Ministry, so called, that have taught me for this persecution program in the regular way, like the usual, the common way, which is called narcissistic always abuse tactics, which means they will communicate things with innuendo and work to push my buttons, things like this. Can be anything from subtle gaslighting to veiled threats or things like this. And Stephen Anderson is another one of these pastors that taught me for the program. David Bursins, Rafi Arnold, and the list goes on. And I'm not intending to stop work to expose these people. And if there's a job that's worth doing, you don't stop doing it until it's done. See? So that's when you know it's time to stop fighting uh, against these people's lies and work to expose them. Is when you're satisfied with the outcome. So, Dula Bible Church is one of these churches, gang stalking churches. Rafi Gone is a gang stalking pastor. Gang stalking means they work for the program. Stephen Anderson, David Bursons. So unfortunately, there's a lot of Christian ministries participating in gang stalking videos. And yeah, so on top of the work of exposing this truth that this Christian ministries participating in government gang stalking videos, these ministries also have other errors, which is not surprising to me because I'm a Christian, a child of God, being taught with a persecution program. And who is the persecutor of the church? Satan. Okay. So if somebody is super wicked and evil, a pastor or a church, to the point where they're participating in persecution of another Christian, if these people are real Christians, it really doesn't surprise me that they're super evil in other ways, like corrupting the gospel or using a fake Bible, like do the Bible Church, using New King James. So I'd like to know if you have a ministry full of abusers that are targeting people in cowardly, bully ways. Pucci Jones wouldn't talk like he does, like be picking on you if he was in the room. Okay, you can count on that. And if you read, oh yeah, I would, okay, you got the money to travel to Sweden and prove your point then, buddy. Okay, I'm a disability and have that money to once. That's the point. My point is this: these coward, bully, persecuting pastors, if they're toxic and abusers and like really wicked, most likely there's other people that have been taught about them. And sometimes if one person speaks up, like, yeah, this church are talking about narcissistic abuse, there might be more people that have left the church after being taught with them. So I'd like to hear if there's somebody else that been taught by this ministry somehow. Do the Bible Church or Rafi Arnold or Stephen Anderson. Stephen Anderson is not one of these sellouts. And there's many errors. So sometimes I deal with the targeting that these people do, and sometimes I deal with the doctor errors, like meaning the errors in the teaching. These people have no dignity. The Duluth Bible Church, Poochie Jones, Tom Stegall, Philip O'Mannon, and these other people that have taught me for the persecution program have no dignity. They're sellouts, they're slaves to Satan, pretty much. Once they start targeting people, I believe that once somebody starts work for the program, targeting people, targeting videos, there's no going back. Meaning, once they've started targeting somebody for this program, I don't believe that they have a choice. It's like they're captured now. They're holding by the course of wickedness. So it's very interesting how speak about this freely. Their program is clearly satanic. So it's like a lot of churches now, they're like secret stalking murder cults, and how cults operate. It's like they have like this secret group what they believe, but they can't be open with their bizarre fringe nutty beliefs because that wouldn't be okay. Kind of like Scientology, was like, yeah, we're about self-improvement. It's kind of like the facade. But it's like behind the scenes, like, yeah, and we teach that there's satans attached to people, like spirit orbs or something like this, that you had to exercise from yourself. Okay, and that's kind of like the in group, like the behind closed doors cult beliefs. So it's like they don't teach. None of these pastors, like the ministries, that participate in gang stalking. And I know because I'm a ton video. If I start watching these people's videos now, then they start talking to me with narcissistic goals through these tactics. It's gonna be like a cult dynamic because they never go like, oh yeah, here's like openly. It was like, yeah, we're working to abuse people, narcissistic dollars abuse tactics. Some people watch these videos, or at least one, would pick on it for a secret persecution program. And the target of our subtle, narcissistic, passive aggressiveness, like attacking somebody's video, is a Christian. Okay, so we're persecuting other Christians, and we think that's okay. No, but that might be like the secret evil. It's like the brainwash is like the targets are Nephilim, demon spawn, or a reprobate. If it's like Steven Anderson, if they go to like an IFB church, they paint the target as a reprobate. They're big on that doctrine. There may be some other Christian church that's more like nowadays in certain ways, be like, yeah, the target is a Nephilim serpent seed or something like this. So it's like they're gonna have tailor-made smear campaigns to recruit people. So yeah, gang stalking is real. Government gang stalking videos is real. I'm a target of a secret persecution one called gang stalk. I've been taught for more than 10 years, and I'm not gonna stop speaking out about this. And so what are they doing in the Bible church? Well, they're targeting me in subtle ways for a program that's intended to destroy a person's life and taught them until they die. So it's a sin of murder, this program. And people targeted for this program, how are they targeting me typically? If I see somebody online target me, it's subtle communication that is intended to be, it's like weaponized communication, subtle gaslighting, veiled threats, something like this, push your buttons. So there's subtle communicating lies, like gaslighting, subtle lies for a program where to destroy a man's life, and the program is designed to like torture him until he dies. It's sin of murder. Okay, so that it's clear who the source of this is. So they're satanic sellouts. Anybody work with this program, they're satanic. See, they're targeting you for a program work to destroy your life, which is slow murder at best. Sometimes have been fast murder too after like slow murder for a while, and then they take them out. So it's the serpent's more sudden and be sort of feels like other made. So they target you in subtle ways. See, when I deal with them and explain, I'm open. See, so they target you in subtle ways. So I'm a target individual, which means I'm a target a program that's working to destroy my life and taught me until I die from the thought. It's a sin of murder. So it's like slow murder. Okay. And pastors work for this. What are they doing? How are they taught me for this program? That also taught me physically in real life. With subtle communication, gaslighting is a main weapon. So it's subtle gaslighting, which is what lies. So it's subtle lies for a program worker to destroy my life. See, the serpent was more subtle. And who is the persecutor of the church? Satan. There's never a Christian who, by the Holy Spirit or any other way, like serving God, is persecuting other Christians. So, uh, yeah, okay. Dula Bible Church is a gang stalking church. Stephen Anderson is targeted for the gang stalking program. David Bursons. Rafik Ono too. And I'm not going to start speak out about this. They're satanic, wicked cowards, basically. Weak, pathetic, contemptible. I wonder if it feels like I have dignity. I'm a person being targeted like David. I'm a Christian. Uh, but I wonder, it's like they can't be good for that. It's like they have no dignity. They can't have self respect. It's like they know that it's like they sold out and did something dirt like a Judas. See? Or it's like they're submitted to the satanic deep state rather than enduring afflictions. Because if you say no to the deep state and you're serving God, you endure afflictions. Whereas if you conform and submit to the deep state like the SAHA church have done, they enjoy the pleasure of sin for a season. Whereas like it's sinful submission. So I'm a real man, a Christian warrior. And they can try to act like all tough and have like a false scammer self. I love it when Poochie Jones, who's a weak-letter feminine beta, sort of put on an air of like, or Brandon Holtas who's now, I can tell that kind of act masculine or something like this. Well, if you are masculine, it kind of exudes off of you. But I did like effeminate guys and had to character effeminate, spiritually effeminate, physically. Like they had to like kind of, oh, you know, I feel powerful. I'm act like a tough guy. Yeah, you coward bullies. You had to do that. Team up to pick on somebody. You know? I'm gonna keep speaking out about this, and the truth is the truth. So, Dula Bible Church has taught me for the persecution program called gang stalking of target widows. So has Rafik Ono and Stephen Anderson, David Burson, and they are in the wall. Yeah, there's a person that left a comment. They live in America. So you most likely you might not know. I don't care if you do or not. I'm gonna tell you, but there's a program in America and in Sweden where I live called Gang Stalk Autonomous Videos. You can check out Stalk by the Feds on Instagram. She has close to 500,000 followers, and she's saying what I'm saying. So I like how it's getting less fringe now. That's one of the few out of all these years fighting to get the word out. It's like some things. Uh, Over time it's like Sam Vaknin, who's a psychologist. He's written books on narcissism and predators, like psychopathy, narcissism, things like this. Sam Vaknin, author of Narcissism, Revisited, Malignant Self-Love. And he lectures on psychology, subcategory like narcissistic behavior, kind of narcissism, you could say, in general. And he made a video, Gang Stalk is real, should be studied. See? And he's not a guy, he's like a tinfoil hat Alex Jones streamer. He's not like a conspiracy nut. But it's like, yeah, this is Gang Stalk is real, it's got a video. Also stalked by the Fed's Lisa, this Instagrammer. And she's got close to 500,000 followers on Instagram. And she's saying what I'm saying. Government gang stalking is a problem called gang stalking, targeted videos of narcissistic abuse. Now, my criticism of her has been that she's toxic and part of the problem. Now, she still has the use of, like, here's an example of somebody who's not like marginalized, but they have a significant platform that's saying the gang stalk is real. Now, comment on her social media, she's part of the problem. That's my criticism because she's minimizing the talking. It's like she presents a watered down light view where I've been targeted. It's like she brings up things. It's basically she deals only with the tip of the iceberg. See, she brings like a tip of the iceberg. Yeah, gang stalking, it's narcissistic abuse, and straight being put up that weird one pretty much. Okay. And then, meanwhile, I've had dentists poke a hole in my tooth on purpose, like targets of Saxon, receive purpose and correct medical treatment. So I've had this is physical war. Okay. So it's not just harassment. I've been shot in the leg, right calf with a dart gun, most likely. Something, I got shot with something. Assassination, I shot in the right leg, calf. And I still have a numb spot on the right calf. That could have been assassination attempt. If not, it's hopefully caused permanent damage. Okay. I've been sprayed with chemicals, food poisoned, and they probably got the dentist at my dental appointment, and I believe that got the dentist instructed at my appointment. It's like your job when it shows up is to give him a tooth infection because it started talking like a dental pick. You know, like they have a little hook, a sharp hook that you kind of tap your teeth with. Now, what she's tapping, she pushed here and I pushed really hard until it broke the tooth and it gave me a pain signal. And after that, I walked down with a tooth infection. And after that, experience the dental office was actually poked, ow, it's really hard. She pokes really hard until, ow, this pain. And then after that, like coming home, if it's like 1 week or 2 weeks after, I start having like a dull ache in the same tooth. And I believe that was the program put out to do it, just like torturous resets and receive perfectly correct medical treatment. That's so gang stalking is a modern day equivalent. You can understand gang stalking by looking at the Sursetson article on Wikipedia, and that covers about 50% of the targeting that targeted videos receive. So that's the level torn I got on. Hey Mike, I think you do a great job evangelizing the gospel. I had a friend that was gang stalked. She was a sister in Christ, and sadly she ended up committing unaliving herself. Now here's what I would say. She might have been murdered and unalived like Epstein. Okay. There's many target videos that have, as I talked about before, the program in of itself at the baseline level is slow murder. Meaning they target in ways that the stress alone, if that's all they did, narcissistic abuse, it's gonna make it more likely to get a heart attack or other health problems. Now, if the program wants to murder TI, one of the most likely ways to do it is to unalive you. So I like to protect my life and make it harder for Ponker to pull that off, or at least people raise their eyebrows. I like to work into my videos. I've been doing that. Where it's like if I go to psych ward or prison, or they tell you I had an accident or like unalive myself, they did it. Okay. So I would never unalive myself. Okay. If I had it in me, it would happen a long time ago. So uh, I would be careful not to attribute TI's death to suicide because the program is designed to murder tornadoes and slowly murder. And there's many TIs that have been murdered. Okay. Chuck Langenberg, Ted Gunderson. So I'm not sure that the person unalived themselves. And like I told you, that's one of the favorite ways of the program to murder a tornado or anybody in general. Murder make it look like a suicide or an accident or natural causes. Just something that is not going to be obviously like, oh, the program took them out. So you might be actually helping to cover up murder of your friend. If you're speaking the truth, somebody came in. I had a friend that was gang stalked. She was a sister in Christ and sadly ended up committing suicide. So you might actually be helping to cover up the murder of a Christian. If you're saying it's true that she was a sister in Christ and true that she was gang stalked, it's like you might actually be part of covering up her murder. Okay. Because I've talked about this before, one of the most likely ways the portal will take out a ton video is to make it look like a suicide. Okay. Or an accident or something like this. So I would be careful to buy the official story of what happened to TI. Okay. Oh, they had a heart attack. Maybe it was the stress. No, they could have been hit with a dart gun, a CIA heart attack gun. The CIA had a dart gun in like the 70s that they could hit you with, and it would give you a heart attack or stroke or something like this. Like 9 or 10 people, if they got hit by it, they would be dead of a heart attack or stroke. They'd be like, oh, natural causes. See? So since a target of gang stalking is targeted for work to destroy the person's body and mind, and it's slow murder, and the several TS that have been fast murdered, made them have an accident while driving or something like this. I would be careful to buy the official story. Okay, I recognize that name. Whatever happened is tragic. Her name while I was a bird talk best. Such a sweet sister. Now, I hope she's not a fake Tia because most online so-called home videos, YouTubers, forum posters that claim to be a TI are fakes. I'd say most, just numbers alone. In my estimation, there's more fake TIs online than real ones. Meaning, just as the targeting program has an army of flying monkeys acting online in real life, working to target individuals, they also have people that have a job as a counterintelligence agent to make a YouTube channel claim to be a TI and then discredit the top of gang stalking by baking in a lot of lies and disinfo. So the truth, like the basic truth, is there is a program from gangs on videos targeting people. It's persecution, and it doesn't just happen to Christians. Okay. And what is somebody like basic things that's like part of target? Well, you're talking about a program that recruits people to target with narcissistic dog abuse tactics in real life and online, and also target your body. Okay, covertly. So it's like 90% covert abuse. If there's anything overt, it's plausibly deniable and attributable to something else. Okay. So what did I say? Point. Most online TIs are fakes. Okay. And they're just like they have an army of people stalking and targeting videos. They have an army of fake TIs, hence all the crazy talkers. So part of the cover up, how to keep the masses wake up to this, is to discredit the topic of gang stalker videos with a lot of crazy talk. So there's a reason why I sound different from if you search gang stalker video. You hear people talk about brain chip implants, flat Earth, reptilians, uh, directed energy weapons, favorite talking points. It's like a talking points of fake TDIs. And it's like directed energy weapons, ELF weapons, microwave radar assaults, remote neural monitoring, quote unquote, RNM, remote neural monitoring, V2K machines, okay, and things like this. So this TIs, fake TIs, have a job to make a YouTube channel claim to be TI. And they're like, yeah, gangster, I'm a total video talking gang stalking. And I'm attacked with satellites, beaming lasers at me, and remote controlling people around me to talk to stuff like this. Either that or spiritual crazy talk, like Seth Stanley or the set. So this, I've identified two categories of crazy talk: technological and spiritual. So there's some crazy talkers like Seth Daniel, yeah, gang stalk is real, and it's demons talking. It's witches and warlocks and covens that are casting spells on you and talking you. Like they spiritualize it. So they're spiritual crazy talkers. They're like, yeah, gang stalk is real. It's demon possession making people stalk. No, it's a boot program where people are recruited and put up to do things to you. Okay. flesh and blood. And that is technological crazy talkers, people like Captain Gordon or Scott Snitzer or others that will bring up gang stalking and discredit with adding a lot of crazy talk to the mix. It was like, yeah, I told you to attack with V2K machines to read your mind with the satellites, this type of stuff, okay, to discredit the topic. And that's why, and it works. That's why a lot of people, if I show up in a community, a Christian stream, and then the topic comes up, either someone say, "Oh, it's a Todd video" or something like this, or I bring up like at some point of conversation, I bring up a Todd video. They're all what are the voice in the headphone you might because they maybe they searched this before and they see something like he has the beaming voices in the head or something like this. Okay, it's like so yeah, you can't you can't trust what you hear. Okay, from most TIs. So most fake TIs crazy talk. And crazy talk basically means untrue information that is intended to sound crazy to describe the topic. So my definition of crazy talk is not if you can find somebody that will agree with you that what I'm saying sounds crazy, that's crazy talk. No, the definition of crazy talk is something that's not true, sounds crazy. Okay, that's crazy talk. Like for example, the baseline of this talking to Norway sounds crazy to them. Just like if you tell somebody 9/11 was a job, it sounds crazy to them. See? So it's not that if somebody thinks it's crazy talk. Being a Christian, atheists will say you're crazy. Oh, you're nuts, you believe the spaghetti monster or something like this, and mock you. So my definition of crazy talk is something that's not true and sounds crazy. Okay. Even without the intention to deceive. Yeah, so I hope if I research her, it's not going to be a crazy talker, right? So, and I find like she's got videos up of her claiming to be taught with direct energy weapons or satellites out of space or spiritualizing it and claiming that it's like demons jumping into people and that's why she's being stalked or something like this. If so, uh, okay. So, anyways, the point people know the truth about targeting. Look no further, you can know the truth here. Yeah. So, and more and more over time, I focus more on getting the word out, not just in general about gang stalking, but about Christian ministries participating in this gang stalking program. So, what is gang stalking? It's persecution. It's a persecution program. So, it's like there's a reason why these freaks in this stalking murder cult. It's like a cult, as I talked about before. It's like Steven Anderson is a pastor that's talking for the gang stalking program with narcissistic always beast tactics. Now, it's always not making videos and like yeah okay so here's like all cards on the table as a light it's like yeah part of what I do in my videos sometimes I work in little subtle threats for a satanic persecution program deep state persecution program because it's a Christian being persecuted who listens to me and all that so I'm like working in little psychological warfare themes into my videos okay because that wouldn't fly see so it's like a cult where it's like cults have like the outside thing and then the inner circle do you understand? Because they couldn't survive if they had like revealed the inner baseball. Do you understand? It's like Scientologists might show up and be like, "Yeah, we're about self-improvement. Okay, we can help you improve as a person." But after you rise through the ranks, and it's like the hidden, like inner circles, like yeah, Satans, like the Scientologists, like yeah, Satans are attached to your body. And you have to kind of get an exorcism somehow and remove these Satans that are attached to your soul, or something like this. Okay, now okay, do you understand? So it's like an inner and outer thing. Where it's like yeah, we're a Christian church, but not like yeah, and we're working with the deep state, helping them persecute Christians until death, and how we attack them is with lies and gaslighting and things like this. And they understand. So you have to be so corrupt and wicked to participate in this. And I think that it's okay. Now the Jews, the Nazis thought it was a good thing to do to murder Jews. They thought it was a good thing to do to murder Jews. They were all like, yeah, we're the good guys. So basically, it's like a witch hunt. And I don't care what to tell you, they're wrong. And it's kind of obvious they know they're wrong because they have to cover up what they do. So I'm speaking the truth of what's happening, and they have to cover up what's happening. That's like, no, that's not happening. The same program that puts up pastors who told me will send people to my chat when I make things like this. Like, this guy's on crack, he's a method, he's a nut job, he's paranoid. Do you understand? You're nuts, okay? To kind of perception management viewers. They do like real time perception management, smear campus in my chat, which is why I like to turn off the chat. This time I didn't turn it off yet. Okay. Yeah, so somebody wrote that, this is hearsay. I had a friend that was a gang stalker. She was a sister in Christ, and sadly, she ended up committing unaliving herself. Okay, self deletion. Now, I've talked about this before. That is like one of the ways the program might try to take me out is to take me out and make it look like a suicide. And to kind of make it hard for them to pull that off, I like to write there like, hey, if I ever go to psych or to prison and you hear that I died and they murdered you, okay. So do you understand? To that, that's part like they make it this harder for them to pull that off without people raising eyebrows. And so yeah, for the public record, I would never unline myself. And basically, or this right away so you could take you out. Now, I believe that God can keep me alive as long as I have things to do down here. And I'm not intending to be part of cover up. Okay. I'm not intending to be part of cover up. I checked statistics, and according to some sources, it's going to be at least 10,000 total videos in America. Okay. Now, whatever number you will have, you had to count the fact that maybe 9 or 10 are fakes. So, what would I guess how many total videos there are in America that know they're total videos? Like real ones that know that they're targeted. And now they like the prep stage for targeting. I'd guesstimate around 100,000, maybe. Now, I've been targeted since childhood, I believe. I mean, I believe the same deep state that targets me now has been targeting me since childhood and working my life in different ways until the targeting started. Now, that's a different topic, and I don't have to get into that. But this is secret society connection to gang stalking, satanic secret societies. So there's some targets who report it's like it's after they uh, offended their like Freemason grandfather that their life went to hell and they became a tornado or something like that. Okay, so uh, yeah, now that's a different topic. I gotta go to the kitchen. I'm not gonna stop working to expose this. So I'm gonna take a look at Chuck Langenberg, late TI Chuck Langenberg's website. So I retain the information that I need to be able to. If there's something that I teach, I can teach it. I'm prepared off the top of my head. And if you can't do that, maybe you shouldn't be teaching what you're teaching or trying to. So anyway, here's the point. Chuck Langenberg was a target individual, and he was doing what I was doing, only downscale, I would say. So he had a talk show call. I don't know if you know about talk show, but it's some kind of a kind of for an average Joe, you can set up like a kind of like a radio show, a call-in radio show, kind of like an audio-only podcast talk show. I don't even know if they had a platform anymore, but he used to be on talk show and do like streams, audio-only streams, and you could have like call-in guests and things like this. And some of his talk show recordings remain on the Internet Archive, Wayback Machine, and things like this. And a mirror of his website. So a website, site.exposedgangstalking.com or something like this. And thankfully, it was mirrored to the Wayback Machine. Okay. So after he died, there seems to be like a purge of his information. So it was an effort to silence him and remove his expose videos, get a word about gang stalking. And basically, research what happened to him, all I could find is he became a ward of the state and then passed after that. So I chalk up his death to most likely he got institutionalized and murdered. Okay. And either like, and that was one of the things when I got put in the psych ward. I was suspecting that this might be it, that I might get taken out here like Epstein or however they would go about it. Okay. Now, anyway, here's the point. Chuck Langberg, what I can find from researching is like all I can find is he became a ward of the state, and shortly after that he died. Okay, and it's been suspected he was murdered, and I would think that might be the most likely explanation that he got taken up by the program, and he was receiving threats from the program. Somebody claimed to be an insider. Came to his chat, Agent 9, Perp 9, something like this, and claimed to be an insider and was like saying that Chuck should expect like a visit from Mr. Pipewrench, quote unquote, soon. And it wasn't long after that that he perished. Now, first, like starting out, he was most focused on like harassment and like the bullying aspects of the targeting and kind of harassment. And later on, he started reporting being targeted physically with chemicals and even in his home and things like this. Food poisoning. Okay. So, yeah, anyways, the point. I've kind of picked up the torch and carried on his work. Okay. Whereas, like, he was working to get the word about gang stalking, reach as many people as possible with gang stalking. Okay. There's something called gang stalking. Okay. I'm the target of it. Here's what it is. And he was also majoring on exposing the counterintelligence agent fake TI crazy talkers. And that's still how a big part of how they cover up gang stalking by having an army of fake TIs active online. Crazy talk about the target. Okay. So gang stalk is what? There's a reason I sound different because I'm a real TI. Okay. So gang stalk is what? It's a secret persecution program. Their targets are target both physically and psychologically in mostly covert uh, ways. Okay, secret kind of because it's designed to affect you, but other people are not supposed to be able to notice it. So anyway, just as in his day, there's the crazy talkers. Okay, that's one of the main tactics of the program to cover up gang stalking and keep the public up to this is to have people crazy talk about this. So basically, it's like 9/11 was an inside job. That's a real conspiracy. The Illuminati used the same tactic. So 9/11 was an inside job. So I remember back when Richard Gage used to be the head of A&E 9/11 Truth or like the front figure or whatever you want to say. Like he was the main guy. Richard Gage, architects, engineers, 9/11 Truth, 9/11 Truth. He'd be streaming on YouTube. I used to watch his streams. Okay, a few years back, like four plus, let's say. Um, and it was the same tactic there. So 9/11 inside job, that's a real conspiracy, meaning the government lied to you about 9/11 and the official story is crap. And Richard Gage was like an academic type, down to earth, just the facts, man. Here's poking holes in the official story. It's like they told you this, that doesn't make sense. Look at the evidence, laws of physics, this and that. Okay, and then there'll be people coming into the chat, be like, they brought down the towers with lasers from outer space or something like this. And it's not just people that are nuts. It's like people that are sent, that are counterintelligence agents. Like the world is getting out about 9/11 is a job. Send in the crazy talks. But yeah, I'm on 9/11 truth too. Space reptiles control the world. And they did it or something like that. Do you understand? Just like throw a lot of crazy, nutty sounding crap on top of real conspiracy to discredit it. So when you tell somebody like a family gathering, now that was inside job, it's like, oh yeah, okay, what you believe in the flat Earth too, house of this, because people have been exposed to fake truthers, so-called conspiracy theories, that are discrediting real conspiracies by association to fake stuff, real crazy talk. Okay, so we're gonna look at the Chuck Lambert website. This is a mirror of Chuck Lambert's website. Another real tea I like to. This is a power punch in the Infowar. Work to expose this. Alex Ross fake truth about I borrowed the term from him. I did like Infowar because that is what we okay. Truth versus lies. Truth being covered up and truth's job is to bring it to light and expose it to the world. Okay, so it's a point. Ted Gunderson, the former head of Los Angeles FBI, see, government whistleblower, insider. It'd be like, I don't know, somebody in Trump's cabinet going out like, yeah, do you understand? He was the head of the FBI, the LA FBI, Ted Gunderson, and he confirmed in his sworn affidavit before dying, the government gang stalk of Todd Wills is real. Okay, so everything I'm telling you, there's a program called gang stalking. The former head of the Los Angeles FBI confirmed in a sworn affidavit that that's the truth. As a government insider whistleblower, gang stalk is real. And there's a reason why most people, when I say that, you haven't heard about Ted Gunderson. Because there's a cover up. The deep state don't want to hear about that. And he was told himself. He became told himself. And was poisoned and attacked in different ways. And eventually died. So, here we go. Yeah, so somebody wrote that they claim that they act like they're being supported. I'd like you evangelize or something like this. Well, even if they'll be genuine and an authentic comment, uh, it's like that's kind of taking a back seat because my ministry, this program is work to sabotage my ministry. And obviously, if you can't even leave your house, that being sprayed with chemicals like a bug or have the government shoot and delay with things to do permanent damage. it makes sense that you don't go outside that much. So there's less gospel tracks in this city than the gospel. That also shows like the fruits of the gang stalking program. Is the one person who's the target that I know in this city is a faithful Christian that used to do sobering. And as a result of the targeting, I've had to stay home more because if I go outside, I get targeted in public, including physical ways. So there's less gospel going on. Okay. And Christians had fled due to persecution in times past. And they weren't targeted with the type of persecution I'm targeted with. Like people being paid and have a job to be a flying monkey for the ground. See? So, and it's not that, oh, Mike is supposed to be like a Kevin, trust God's providence, so just walk out naked and trust God will protect you, something like this. Walk circumspect and not as fools. Okay. So, there's Christians, time passed, are persecuting the city, and they ran away, see. They fled. It's not like, yeah, we're trusting God's providence to just keep us safe. No, they were like, we're being told we had to go on the run, see. Okay. So, uh, maybe if it was for the persecution, I'd be focusing more on evangelism. Essentially. Now, this program has been working to, it's an attack on the body of Christ in the Western world because God has equipped me, made me an able minister of certain truths that the body of Christ needs to know and so many. But a lot of this is like, it's gotten to a point where I'm more focused on fighting back against the tyrannical persecution program. Okay. And so it's like, yeah, I like to share the gospel now and then, but it's like streams like this is more about. It's like I end up being so mad at the targeters, and I feel like I have to fight back and work to expose it and expose ministry participant in persecution things like this. So yeah, whatever. And it's like a little too late. Okay, where have all you Christians been? It's really disgusting to me. All the value I've been sharing for free out here, sharing the gospel, working hard, spending hours a week teaching God's health, fitness, wisdom, work to protect the body of Christ from harm, physical harm, working to teach doctrine, the gospel, and it's been freaking crickets and only hate and harassment. And I haven't seen any support from any Christians all these years. So uh, I'm jaded and I'm not really. Oh, I'm gonna warm up the yard or something like this. For all I know, you could be somebody playing a game like a flying monkey. Okay, it's like it's more often that somebody shows up and they're like here to target me than they're not. Okay, so I don't care if you like it or not. To be honest with you, I don't care if you like me sharing the gospel or not. I'm gonna do it no matter what. Okay. So I don't, apparently I'm not a guy that needs the applause or like cheering on people to get things done. Because I've been out here living and working as a man possessed to do what I need to do. Okay. See, tirelessly working to do what I've been doing. So I don't require any support I have been getting, and so apparently I'm able to get by without it. Now, if people are for the real gospel being shared, I want to see people doing it in this room regular. So that's good. Okay. I mean, if a Christian is not for people sharing the real gospel, there's something really wrong with you. So, anyway, I'm not going to stop working to expose gang stalking. And somebody came in and wrote something that I said I need to double down on, letting people know I wouldn't underline myself. So I get a lot of threats and stuff. I get threats from the program. Not only have they targeted me, but they threat and stuff. So uh, if I go to psych or to prison, I wouldn't be surprised if they take me out in there. Make it look like an accident or natural cause and stuff like this. I don't live in fear of that. But I'm not looking to make it easy for them. So anything I can do to throw my question in the machine of like evil schemes and plots against me in the natural, spiritual, that's something that I like to do. And in the spiritual, it's not crazy talking. I mean, I'm a Christian, so ultimately, I trust God to take care of me. So I won't be surprised if I research that name and it's like a crazy talk. The person had videos crazy talking or something like this. I won't be surprised. So this is Miro Chuck Langenberg's website about gang stalking. Here's a bullet point fact list about gang stalking. Blacklisted Tony videos, TIs are gang stalk for speaking out, list of revenge. So this is like sharp staccato, okay, because it's like bullet point fact list. So blacklisted Tony individuals are gang stalked, okay, for speaking out. So that's one of the reasons you can become targeted. You start whistleblowing about something, the deep state and what the mass know about. List of revenge, which could be your kind of Freemason fathers and narcissist psychopaths want to control you, and just you not submitting and letting somebody control you can give a narcissistic injury to a narcissistic Freemason, and they pull strings to get the target, would say. So it can be a list of revenge. It doesn't have to be that you set somebody's house on fire. It can be just a narcissistic, sociopathic person who's in a secret society. They can be offended by you not admiring them enough, and they can feel like they want to get revenge on you for that. I'm not joking, but I'm getting into psychology now. So it's like a narcissist can want to take revenge on you for being smarter than them or better looking, and they get a narcissistic injury from you, and they just so it's like it's not like you have to set someone's house on fire. It can be that they feel slighted by you. It can be your Freemason grandfather wants to control your life, and you don't let them run your life, and they don't like that. And it's like they give up on trying to manipulate you and control you, and then you become a target, something like this. So, uh, different things that can make you targeted is whistleblowing, like Ted Gunderson started whistleblowing about gang stalking and other things. So being a whistleblower, get a word about things, the deep state, that's what people get the word about to get you targeted. List of revenge, meaning your somebody's a Freemason, get married for some reason, they pull strings on you, and basically being a problem person to the deep state. Now, if you're a Christian, you're more likely to end up being targeted because the Bible says that they all that live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. Okay. Before I was afflicted, I went astray. Before I became a target, I was converted. So I wasn't targeted like I am today before I became a Christian. And I'm not spiritualizing it. I could break it down from a psychology perspective, belief system alone, without having to prove the spirit world is real. Meaning, how is it? I can argue for it. See, so it's not like, well, you have to accept the spirit world for gang stalking to be real. What I'm saying is, I'm saying that it's more likely that somebody will become a target if they're a Christian, even if to be a fake Christian, religious by lost, because a person that's a Christian are more likely to now care about good and evil, right and wrong, and read the Bible about right and wrong, and they're more likely to be like have courage to be like I've learned some secret conspiracies, and they're more likely to be like there's evil in this world, okay, to be aware of that, like there is evil in this world, okay, and they're more likely to find out about conspiracies, and they're more likely to have the courage to be like, God can keep me alive. So an average person, I can't stand up to the deep state if they understand. But a Christian is more likely to be like, I'm gonna resist this and get the word out, whatever the activism is, and come what may will, God can keep me alive. So they're more likely to stand for the truth, fight against what's wrong, and have the courage to risk their life doing so if they are a Christian, real or fake. Meaning, like a Catholic, like, yeah, that's a good work I'm doing to go to heaven or something like this, is standing up to titles, something like this. They're still not going to heaven, but more likely to do the work if they think that it's like, that's how I please God or something like this. Do you understand? So, uh, having a belief system makes it more likely that you get targeted if the belief system is Bible centered. Okay. So anyway, here's the point. Ted Gunderson became a target former Los Angeles FBI. And you know what? Before Epstein Island got exposed, I was getting the word about Ted Gunderson. And Ted Gunderson was talking about this type of stuff before it became cool, before it became in vogue. So before the Pizzagate talk and the Epstein Island, Ted Gunderson was what? I wish I knew it by heart, but it's gonna be like 20 plus years ago. It's like the conspiracy circles, like the prophecy circles on YouTube, where it's like there's different speakers that come there. And one guy's talking about end times, one guy's talking about maybe the Freemasons, something like this. So he was doing like the conspiracy circuit. And he was talking about elites that do human sacrifices or pedophiles and abduct children and do weird things with them and sell them on covert auctions. So before Epstein Island, Ted Gallus was like 20 plus years ago. Yeah, here's how the world works. The deep state abduct children, they sell at auctions, and they get abused and things like this by evil people. And then flash forward to Podesta, Pizzagate, and Epstein Island. He was like talking about this before, like a lot of people, like, yeah, that type of stuff is going on in this world. See? And he was out there talking about it. So he was a whistleblower. Okay. And one of the things that he whistleblew about was gang stalking. Now, I don't know if he started whistleblowing about gang stalking as a conspiracy before he became a target himself or after, or if he was doing some other activism, like get the word about some things and then became targeted. And then he's like, okay, I know this other stuff. Like, I'm going to put him on blast and like put out everything I know, kind of. So it's like I had to look more into the, but I know for sure that Ted Garnison, former head of Los Angeles FBI, confirmed the sworn affidavit the government gang stalk is real, and the sworn affidavit supposedly, uh, in the American legal system, it's like if you write a sworn affidavit and somebody can prove that what you say is not true, you could be sued. Okay, so basically, it's like it's something that gives credibility that the person signing it believes that what they're saying is true, they're not just making things up. So if you just make a YouTube video, it's like, yeah, the spaceship channel, or something like a fake conspiracy, it's like, okay. But if you sign a sworn affidavit that the government is doing X, Y, and Z, and the government can prove they're not doing that, you might be in trouble. Okay, like legally, and they can like overtly give you trouble that, oh, this is like a dirty thing to do. Anyways, the point. So government gang stalk is real. Who exactly is gang stalking you? Someone writes. Flying monkeys. People are agents of this government persecution program. Okay. Who exactly is gang stalking you? Who exactly? People are flying monkeys. Okay. People are recruited agents. Okay. So listen to what I'm teaching instead of ask these little annoying questions. Who exactly? And it's basically it's like you're gainsaying sadly, see, like passive aggressive. It's not, you're not saying like nobody's gangster. It's like who exact. So it's like kind of put the bird up. I have to kind of make a case here. Is I watch my videos. So who's gang stalking you? People, okay. Humans are recruited to be flying monkeys to target or put up the target for the gang stalking program. So there's like the Schusetzer program, okay, that the German government had. The Stasi had a secret program persecuting people, and they recruited all kinds of people. So it's human beings that get put up to target me. Anything from pastors, like Dulu Bible Church leadership, Rafi and Arnold. Me, I'm a Christian. So if I start checking out a YouTube channel, a Christian ministry, a lot of times the pastors start targeting me for the program with narcissist overspeed tactics. So there's average Joes, there's people that are trades people. There's no like one type of people. Like it's always short people, with black hair or something like this. Okay, it's people, average Joes, and even Christian pastors. And it's not really a type. There's Christians, there's atheists, there's all kinds of people. And part of the thought I get is cyber stalking. So a lot of the hate and harassment I get online, trolling and harassment and stuff, are from people coming here that were put up to target for the gang stalking program. Meaning cyber stalk is part of targeting. Now, I've had one, two, three, four people in here writing, some of them acting supportive, but there's only one like on the live stream, and that's my own like, see. and I don't settle for breadcrumbs. So people show up as like acting supportive, and it's like they don't do a simple thing that everybody knows is a way to support a person's stream. See, hit a little like button. So it's one like on the stream, so you're all getting blocked. Okay, any person that was in her writing is going to get blocked. Okay, why? Because I don't tolerate this disrespectful gaslight where it's like I'm acting like I'm a supportive viewer, but I'm not actually doing something that actually does support your stream, like hit a like button. See, okay, and I gotta show that to you. See, one like, and I've had all these people in writing comments. Let's refresh the page. Maybe somebody hit it after I noted. No, see, so it's one like. That's my like. See, I remove it. It says zero likes, which means either you to be shadow banning me and lying about how many people leave likes on my videos, or you're just people showing up not support what I'm doing, but acting like you support what I'm doing. So you don't judge people by their words. Hey, Mike, support what you're doing, but they're not actually clicking a like on the video, which is a way to support what I'm doing. So I'm gonna block all of you. Okay, you're all getting blocked. I don't tolerate setting for breadcrumbs. This is not one of these riffraff, low quality, low status men that is like it's been normalized. It's like you're used to being narcissistic in like, oh, I'm here to get something, some answers to my questions, some attention from Mike, okay, some interaction, but I can't give a like on the stream, which supposedly will make you get more views on the videos. Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised if this dude account is a Christian gang stalker and he's like coming in here to be like, oh, we're in here working to help uh, with a false narrative. If you want to murder Mike and make it look like a suicide, someone saying, "Yeah, I knew another target. They unaligned themselves," and that's like a dirty secret where a lot of TIs that you hear that they unaligned themselves were murdered by the problem made it look like a suicide. Okay, and then somebody else is in here. I got to refresh it just to verify. Yeah, see, it's like I got it says one like here. Say so people know, oh, I'm here supporting you. I'm not a hater, but they don't click the like button. I don't set it for breadcrumbs. Good, I'm reading you. And people get are used to watching streams from people that are like low value people, and low value people have low standards. So high value people have high standards for how they expect to be treated. And people show up and it's like they're not up to par. They figure out quickly that it's like this is not one of these people that's like, oh, I could be a narcissistic man child here and be like, I'm here getting stuff and I don't reciprocate the low stuff. Narcissism, basically. It's a subtle sign of narcissism. Where it's like, I'm here to get something. And it's a simple way to support the stream that I'm watching. But I can't click a little button. I want to get answers to my questions, some interaction, ask some attention from Mike, but I can't give a like on the stream. Okay. So good, I'm rid of you. Okay. You can go watch some other live stream where people let you get away with narcissistic behavior and don't put down boundaries. Okay. People are accept being treated like that. It's like, oh, I'm your body. And then, like, the behavior doesn't match the words. Okay. So, yeah. I won't be surprised if I search this Topaz. They're a crazy talker. And if so, we kind of confirm a suspicion that this dude could be a Christian gang stalker. And his job was to come in here and kind of help the narrative that I unalive myself if the program ever wants to murder me, make it look like I did it myself. Kind of help that, and then also promote a crazy talker. So we'll see if he was a crazy talker. If we find videos of them talk about spirits, gang talk, and stuff like this, so that would definitely fit. If this person ends up coming in like, yeah, I know another TI, they unalive themselves, and if I check them out, they'd be like crazy talk. Way to get crazy talk. It must be perception manage people because they're afraid of Christians waking up to this. We'll see. Bird topaz. Bird topaz. See if this crazy talk here. So usual crazy talking points from fake TS is direct energy weapons, microwave radar assaults, things like this. So some type of crazy talk. We'll see. Deuce, direct energy weapons. No. Microwave. Microwave. Directed. Yeah, so searching some crazy talking points, it didn't yield any results. So possibly this was a real TI. Who exactly is gang stalking? It's like, what type of question is that? Listen and watch the videos. Gang stalking is a secret persecution program where people are recruited to target me in real life and online. Everything from Christians, even Christian ministries, as I said before, to average Joes in the neighborhood. Okay. There's young people, middle aged people, there's people that are doctors, can be an agent. There's people are recruited to target a target below. There's a secret program that recruits people with flying monkeys, so called, and target you online or real life. Okay, and that question might be coming from one of these people, as a matter of fact. Feds. Yeah, so you have to teach children that are like immature little babies. You have to teach them how to be adults. And a lot of people didn't get to that stage yet. Where it's like, well, how to human 101. It's like if you show up leaving comments and you don't hit the like button, you come across as a narcissistic person. If you ask people questions, right, put a question mark in your sentence so you come across as rude and sloppy. Okay. It's like I don't allow this type of stuff. You can go to some channel that lets you get away with being toxic, narcissistic, frenemies, and like doing body troll tags and pretending to be supportive, but your actions show that you're not actually. Okay, I proved it. See, I proved you showing up here and act like a supportive, but didn't click the freaking like button. Okay, so yeah, I'm not okay with that, and people have to learn. It's like you watch a channel where this comes up a lot in my streams. Where it's like every other stream or every stream, it happens somebody comes in, and I can tell like and they go up, and I go and explain my boundaries here. So it's like if you've been watching my channel, my streams, even like once a week, you would have heard it's like, oh, this is something Mike doesn't like. People showing up trying to talk to him and they didn't even click the like button. See? So which could be a form of narcissist always abuse itself, where it's like push the buttons on the slide in front of others and then like bait Mike, oh Mike's the bad guy if he reacts to it or something like this. Like previously expressed pet peeves, that's part of time too. Utilize knowledge of previously expressed pet peeves. Like anything you don't like, it's like the pro can do it to try to push your buttons. So I'm not going to start working with word about this. And the truth is more powerful than lies. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep working the word out and I'm focusing on getting the word out about Christian ministries participating in persecution. So I'm a Christian being on this program. And I've seen a lot of ministries, pastors, and run-of-the-mill Christians participating in talking. And Rafin Gono, do the Bible Church, Stephen Anderson, David Burns, and some others. And how they target with narcissistic dog abuse tactics in the videos. For the same problem that targets me in real life too. With flying monkeys doing narcissistic dog abuse psychological targeting. And physical targeting tactics, mostly covert. And that's what I'm focusing on. Here's a woman stalked by the feds. Lisa, is this some comment on her? She has 383,000 followers, and it's easier on my Shadowban YouTube channel to kind of the perception is like, oh, Mike is kind of marginalized. I see his videos talk about being stalked and what's happening, the sniping target video, what the target is, and he gets like 2 likes on the video, like 48 views sometimes. So it's like it's easy to kind of, yeah, this is something like nobody believes it. Well, if you look at this person, she's close to 500,000 followers on Instagram. Stalked by the feds, Lisa. Okay, educating myself and others about multi-perpetrated stalking, making lemonade out of lemons. Okay, and notice how it's now when she posts saying the same things I'm saying. There's a secret program targeting her. It's not like 2 likes on the video and people, everybody saying she's crazy, expressing disbelief. It's like she posts stuff. It's like I'm being targeted, meant to prepare for my false arrest. So I got put in a psych ward for it's called Dargo, okay? So here's my belief, here's my summarization. Because I started whistleblowing about abuse, okay? Like close to home, okay? People like in this city telling me. The same people that have been talked about in my videos, like these people have been talking to me, went on a called Darvo, like a smear campaign, to be like, oh, the person started whistleblowing. Darvo, the night attacker was victim offender. See, this guy is crazy. He's Nazi. He's got the psych ward and like paint is crazy, and that's one of the attacks of the program. Where they will target you and provoke you over time with flying monkeys doing narcissistic abuse. And if you start reacting to it, you'll be like, oh, the person is mental and paranoid. They think I'm targeting them. See, and this is like a classic tactic of narcissistic abusers. If you look at like uh, run-of-the-mill narcissistic abuse, let's say this narcissist got a girlfriend. Okay, this is how they operate. Where it's like, let's say the narcissistic boyfriend has been abusing the girlfriend with narcissistic abuse. And then the girlfriend started to make like posts on Instagram, it's like, I'm being abused or something like this. So, okay, the boyfriend might be like, oh, I'm call people and be like, yeah, I'm worried about my girlfriend. She's paranoid and imagining things. And do you understand? So there's like a smear campaign. Uh, and it's called DARP, but an attacker versus victim offender. So somebody will bully you suddenly, and then if you react to covert aggression with overt reactive aggression, they will work to weaponize your reaction to the covert abuse and discredit you. Like, oh, this person is sensitive or paranoid. They think I'm in this to them. They're mentally ill. They're crazy. Okay, so kind of bring the victim tactics. So yeah, notice how this person here, gaslighting and gang stalking, okay? And notice how she posts about the same things I talk about, being a thought video talk with gang stalking. And she's got 2,470 likes in this post. See? And let's look what people say in the comment section. 696 likes. A targeted video. So she's claiming to be a targeted video target with gang stalking. Let's see the comments. I wish you well. I circulate this to my trusted knows as well. You are leader research like instant. So don't say it's not like only comments where it's like you're crazy, that's not happening to you. Gang stalking is not real. Anybody claiming that it's a secret point hard people, they're crazy, they work with something like this. No. They just got close to 500,000 followers. And every post about gang stalking she's got, if I check, it's like a 2-day old post, 24 hours. She's got at least 1,000 likes on and comments. So that one of the only reasons that I bring her up is one of the uses of her uh, pages is like, look, I'm not the only one saying it. And like people are more, nobody believes you. Like anybody talk about this, they're crazy. And it's kind of like people think this like, yeah, I'm nuts. And anybody talk about this is nuts. And nobody believes anybody claiming to be talking about this. It's an example, somebody's close to 500,000 followers. And she posts about gang stalking of Todd videos, claiming to be one. And it's not that everybody's laughing and saying she's crazy. So apparently, it's not super fringe, and only paranoid nut jobs believe this is happening. See, so now here's the point too. I've had to be harsh in my criticism of her. I've even gone as far as say that I believe that she's a fake TI. Okay, so walks like a duck, quacks like that, talk like a duck. Now, for a while, I was trying to figure out what her angle was, and it seems that what she's doing is not the crazy talk angle that most fake TIs do. But what she's doing is minimization, where she's kind of bringing a light uh, form. It's like, oh yeah, gang talk is real. And she brings up like the tip of the iceberg. And she's only presented like, yeah, it's narcissistic abuse, bullying, basically. Whereas I'm a TI, and I've been poisoned, attacked physically, they try to make me have accidents. It's war, okay? It's not just narcissistic abuse. And it's more accurate to describe it as narcissistic forward slash psychopathic abuse. Because once they're like sadistically hurting your body and poisoning you, things like this. And like things like this. Now it's not just narcissistic abuse anymore. So uh, toxic is toxic, okay? So it's like I don't have to prove that she's a paid fake TI counterintelligence agent. Their behavior is problematic and hurts the cause, where she's minimizing it and even covering up, intentional or not. She's done cover ups of targeting. So, for example, for years I've been warning about gang stalking before this woman ever showed up. I was talking about Ted Gunderson and I was warning TS about, hey, here's what the targeting is, educating targets and the public with facts, knowledge, and targets especially need the truth about the targeting. So it's like, here's what you face with. The program will attack not just psychologically but physically. Forget about the so-called direct energy weapons. That's like a red herring pitfall they want to fall into. They want to stop believing these satellites out of space, so you help to come up gang stalking. Do you understand? If you listen to someone like Catherine Horner, you get brainwashed as a TI into believing that, yeah, okay, maybe she's right, that it's like satellites that are attacking me or something like this. And you're out here like whistleblowing. Like if you me talk about it, if I would add like, oh, and also this like satellites are targeting me. Do you understand? I'll be hurting the cause and like helping to cover it up by, yeah, this guy is like nut job. He thinks satellites are targeting him. Okay. Do you understand? So most crazy talkers are paid fakes and they're doing it on purpose. That's the job. To like, yeah, gang stalkers will throw a lot of crazy talk on top of it. Now you're gonna have the rare unicorn real TI who walks, talks, quacks like a duck. Meaning they appear, they act just like a fake TI. They're out here crazy talk about the targeting because they've been brainwashed by listening to fakes like counterintelligence agents, wolves in sheep's clothing, people that pretend to be doing activism for like the cost of exposing this and making videos pretending to be like coaches, okay, like Scott Snitzer or Seth Daniel, people like this, okay. So the behavior is the behavior, and I don't have to get caught in the diagnosis stage to be like, are they a paid fake or not? Look at the behavior. Are they part of the problem or not? See, are they part of the problem? Are they helping to come up against stalking? Are they helping to keep TS in the dark about things they need to know to be able to target them or not? So one of the examples of her behavior being part of the problem is I've been warning about a real target tactic. The program wants to go inside the home your way, covert entry. So if you leave your home, the program will go inside the home. Maybe not every time, but they will if they're able to easily, they will do it intermittently. And contaminate the environment with chemical irritants, heavy metal dust. They will contaminate the environment with toxins. Open your fridge, put drugs and or poisons in your food in the fridge. Okay. And now you know the truth. You've been warned as a TI that that's all the target tactics. And a lot of TIs, it took some years of target until I figured out they do that. And I wish somebody would have done videos like I did and be like, hey, Mike, here's what the target is to do this to you. Okay. And it's like an awakening process where it's like I had to find other TIs that were in the know and real TIs and tuned me into some of the targeting tactics. Okay, and some of the targeting tactics I had to be hit with and hurt by to realize this is like a new move or like a move that the program will use, and I had to figure out a way how to block it or at least mitigate damage. Okay, to be less hurt by the tactics. So yeah, basically, COVID entered the program going inside the home in your way and poisoning your environment or your food and or your food. That's part of targeting. Okay. And she goes and makes a video. Yeah, if the poor goes inside the home and she's doing like a skip. It's like, oh, I came home and this thing was another place. So the poor was showing me that they've been inside my home. They're just doing that to mess with you psychologically. Okay. Which is very bad advice because TS need to know, they need to have a sense of urgency and they need to know the truth about this is a target tactic that's really serious and you really need to get motivated to make it harder for the point to sneak inside the home your way. And then I've been teaching how to set up your own basic budget security system. It's not pie in the sky. It's not like you have to go to some website and buy this 6 camera pack with a fee every month and it's like $900 per month. No, no. Most people already have the things that you need to set up the security system. And it's basically get a smartphone, download the timestamp camera app on the Google Play Store, and then you, as a backup, you want to have a redundant system, like 2 or more things. So like a video recording and a live stream ultimately. And you can live stream using StreamYard for free. It's free to get a YouTube channel. It's free to get a StreamYard account. On the free StreamYard plan, I think you get up to 20 hours or something of streaming per month. So you could use that to do a live stream inside the home, and that's like gold. That's one of the hardest things to spoof or like sabotage by the program. You have a live stream as your home security system, like CCTV. Um, so a live stream in conjunction with a timestamp camera app video recording is like a good baseline security system at TI. And most people have a smartphone, and a lot of people have a spare old smartphone, like they got a new model and they still have the old one lying in your door, something like this. It doesn't have to be like a new phone, as long as it's got a camera and a memory card and access to the internet, so you can connect to Google Play Store, download the app. Okay, and then you can use that to have a security system. So yeah, but anyway, so still I bring this person up, and she looks like a fake TI to me. Okay. Now, if I would be right or wrong in that, doesn't really matter because the behavior is the behavior. So if she's helping the cause of covering this up and she's helping to keep TS in the dark about the true nature of the target, and she's kind of bringing a minimized, watered down version of the target to the public, she's not really exposing the truth from the target to the public. Okay. It'd be like this. Let's say there was a conspiracy that the government was like putting poison in the tap water. And then she's like, yeah, there's a conspiracy the government is removing vitamins from the tap water. See, it's like if it's more serious to be putting poison in the water than if it's like trace amounts of some vitamin in the water, the government's removing it. Do you understand? So if there was some natural occurring vitamins in the tap water, the government had conspiracy to remove it from the water to hurt the masses or something like this. That's not the same thing as like if the government was putting arsenic in the tap water. Do you understand? It's like, yeah, the government is not cleaning the water enough. So do you understand? It's like a light downplaying minimization thing that I see her doing. And I'm not saying the government is putting poison in the tap water. I'm saying as an example, analogy. Okay. So this is Chuck Langenberg's website. And we'll listen to this is a mirror of his website on the Wayback Machine. So if you visit this link, it will load slowly, okay? Because it's a mirror. So have some patience. If you click a link, even though it's not like a heavy It's not like a lot of stuff loading there, but even though it's just text, it's kind of slow to load. Here's summary of gang stalking, full text with 11-minute audio. And here, here is a part of the website where it talks about the crazy analytical crazy talkers, which is still the issue. That's still a tactic used by the program to discredit gang stalking and keep people from waking up to this. Crazy analytical crazy talkers. The government doesn't want word about gang stalking to get out. So the word is getting out in this way, I should say. And there, especially if I make lashes like this with open chat, there will be people coming in either to claim to be TS and throw some crazy talk on top of my talk because I'm not making it sound crazy here. So it's like there needs to be some crazy talk thrown on any talk about the gang stalking. And Mike is not living up to the quota because he's actually trying to get word about this, okay? The chat be like, this guy's on crack, this guy's on drugs, this guy's is crazy, to perception match the views in real time, just to be like, have a fake paid human opinion. Like, this guy's nuts about it, to kind of flavor people's perception. Like, another person said they think the person sounds nuts and you're more likely to fall into yourself tactic. Okay, that's perception management. And another tactic would be like, yo, I'm a TI, like fake TI showing up in my chat. They'd be like, oh, I'm a TI too in France, Mike. They are attack us with V2K machines. I hear voices in my head every night for this to try to make people think, oh yeah, okay, yeah, it's paranoid schizophrenics. They have auditory hallucinations. I think the targets. Okay, there's nut jobs. So the government doesn't want word about gang stalk or content to get out, but if the word does get out, the word sounds crazy and unearthly. So they continue to repeat far-fetched, unearthly, crazy-sounding terms. Gang stalk is huge. For a little more money, they can pay for this info. Government objective: discredit gang stalk and targeting issues. So the objective with all these people online crazy talking about the targeting is to discredit the topic of gang stalk to the public. Play this audio. So this is Chuck Langenberg, and I think this was an intro, like a summary of gang stalking. Now remember, this was a work in progress, and later on, he started talking about physical attack and things like this, food
Recorded
poisoning.
live.
So at
Hello,
this
this
stage,
is VancouverWATI.com. This is a reading of the homepage of www.exposedgangstalking.com. I last revised that page today on Thursday, March 17, 2011. This entire website is in the public domain, as is this MP3 recording. Please distribute both as you see fit with no stipulations.
Early stage,
Gang stalking and harassment. Blacklisted TIs, targeted individuals, are regularly harassed by gangs of stalkers, often for revenge of speaking out. The cardinal rules of the stalkers are the harassment must always be subtle and never be provable. So the TI is fully aware that the stalking is occurring. Talk shoes. Recorded live. Hello, this is VancouverWATI.com. This is a reading of the homepage of www.exposedgangstalking.com. I last revised that page today on Thursday, March 17, 2011. This entire website is in the public domain, as is this MP3 recording. Please distribute both as you see fit with no stipulations. Gang stalking and harassment. Blacklisted TIs, targeted individuals, are regularly harassed by gangs of stalkers, often for revenge of speaking out. The cardinal rules of the stalkers are the harassment must always be subtle and never be provable. So the TI is fully aware that the stalking is occurring, but to any bystanders in the vicinity, it's invisible and blends in like life in the big city. Gangs of stalkers versus a single stalker. The gang stalking participants that harass TIs are countless and organized. They work in shifts and proficiently hand off TIs as they travel between territories on a 24/7 basis. So there's literally no time and nowhere that the TI can go to avoid the stalking. Thus, gang stalking has more of an effect on a victim than a single stalker who works alone to harass an ex-lover, for example. Who are the gangs? Tradespeople, city workers, cab drivers, and delivery people are recruited. Highly sought after professions are locksmiths, maintenance people, phone and cable installers, motorcycle gangs. Retired and non working people also participate, and of course, the neighborhood watch is big into stalking. Some people prefer to call it community stalking rather than gang stalking, but it's the same thing. Character assassination and gag orders. Slander is always a part of the TI's targeting. It is carried out by school perps or perpetrators who infect everyone that the TI comes in contact with, either by whispering slander and lies about the TI or by more subtle means. The people who are lied to are immediately gagged and instructed not to advise the TI of what was said or who said it, which prohibits the TI from defending their own character. At that point in time, they become a gagged person, a GP. Next, the GP is recruited to participate in the administration of vigilante justice and harassment of the TI, all of which is justified by the perp's secret slander, bribes, and snitching. TIs with sufficient finances are sometimes extorted to pay a bribe in exchange for lifting their targeting, whereas TIs with inadequate finances are bribed to turn coat, become a snitch, and target other TIs. Agreeing to a bribe can reduce targeting on themselves or their family, and they may be allowed to work again, but cooperating with organized crime is a lifelong curse. Forced homelessness. A TI's life is intentionally destroyed, and attempts are made to drive them to homelessness. Perhaps some of the street people you see are the honorable ones who wouldn't agree to a bribe. The quote-unquote integrity of intelligence officers. TIs who possess special knowledge or skills have reported bribe attempts by NSA officials to join forces with them in order to lift their targeting. On a similar note, CIA recruitment quote-unquote offers are often accompanied with a lifelong stalking threat if the person refuses quote-unquote employment. So a potential recruit can pick their poison. They can either be a spook forever or be forever stalked. Either way, once they meet up with the intelligence elk, their life will never be the same. This is something to think about before pursuing civil or military clearances, because once you know too much, you're in for life. The long road to discovering the secret. Even though the TI realizes that they are being continually discredited and harassed, it sometimes takes them many years to finally discover that what has been happening to them is a formal protocol of organized stalking. Once they become aware of this protocol and begin researching it on the web, they discover the actual terms, gang stalking and targeted individuals. Countless TIs have said they feared for their life because of the stalking until they finally discovered the secret in those two terms. When a TI realizes that they're just the tip of the iceberg. Upon Googling the gang stalking protocol, a TI discovers that there are countless other TIs in the same boat as they are, the majority of whom are not aware that they're a TI, just as they had not known for so long. Secret conspiracy. Some TIs are miffed to discover that something so out in the open could remain such a secret in society, especially when it had been happening to them for so long. Prior to their targeting, most TIs have never heard of such a thing. Other people are shocked to hear of it as well, and many have trouble believing it. Understandably, they wonder how something so crazy sounding could have existed right under their noses for their whole life without them knowing about it. Professionals play dumb or risk losing their credentials. Cops, attorneys, psychs, healthcare, and other professionals are in on the conspiracy to not discuss harassment or stalking, but they must play dumb and act bewildered or risk losing their credentials. Countless TIs have sought the advice of the quote-unquote trusted professionals and authority figures. Usually universally, these TIs have said that professionals could have wised them up, but they said nothing, and sometimes they even lied. This keeps gang stalking underneath the radar. The flooding of gang stalking discussions.
That was like the some of vitamin C sachet. So I take two forms of vitamin C, and this is crucial for other ton videos. If you find this video to learn about health fitness, and I wouldn't have been alive today if I hadn't learned what I've learned about uh, health fitness. Okay, keep kind of general. So anything from supplements to diet, and not just learning, but applying what I've learned. So some of the most important vitamins, or the most important vitamin, I would say for me, is vitamin C. So this is vitamin C water, which I make myself. I buy vitamin C powder, ascorbic acid in bulk. I got a kilo from Amazon about 2, 3, 4 days ago. Okay. And I mix more vitamin C water. So I don't buy tablets or capsules or effervescents or like Ester C or whatever they have at the gas station. I buy pure vitamin C powder on Amazon, ascorbic acid, and then I mix up my own vitamin C water. So that's what I call regular vitamin C. And then I take this special vitamin C, liposomal vitamin C. And I take one a day. It's happened I take more than one a day. But it's a basic baseline like one a day. And yeah, we don't have to get deeper into that right now. So
With crazy sounding disinformation. The subject of gang stalking is continually flooded by an army of paid professionals who mix disinfo with truth, so the average person doesn't know what to believe. A lot of the issues, some of the issues, must be true, but who knows which? All of the issues sound crazy, though, starting with gang stalking itself. So frustrated victims, as well as shills who pretend to be frustrated, both need to tell their far-fetched stories elsewhere because
so remember, I'm a Christian we talk with this, and I've seen a lot of Christian ministries participate in talking. And it's like, how do we talk to you? I tell you, it's like, do the Bible churches been talking the videos. And you think I'm crazy because you go watch the videos, you can't see it. Mike saw, screw you. But it's called narcissist dog abuse tactics. So the target can notice they're being targeted due to their personal experience. So there's like the missing piece of the puzzle. And that's like a pattern where if a target is in a supermarket, there's going to be people in there that are agents of the program, flying monkeys, gang stalkers, so called. And the target can tell because they will be told to do or say certain things that fit a pattern of behavior that you've seen as like a theme in the harassment. Okay. So it could be several things. So the target will notice that, oh, that person there is a gang stalker. But it's so subtle that to another person they can't notice it. And even if you go like that person's target right now, most people will be able to tell. Okay. So it's called narcissist dog abuse tactics. And one of the target tactics a person can use is to reference how he reaches settle down in private. Okay. So like I've used this example before to explain the target tactics, how you can feel targeted and know that somebody's targeted for the program. Because part of it, you know that you're being spied on. So the program is listening in through electronics, meaning if I'm not live, they're still tapping into my microphone and listen just like you can hear me now. If I end the live stream, turn everything off, it's like if I'm sitting here talking, they can still hear me because they're tapping into my microphone via back doors. Snowden revelations deal with this. They have like a C6 chip, whatever it's called. So I believe that everybody's being spied on. The difference is the TIs know they're being spied on because the deep state persecution protocol called gang stalking would use information to get by spy on the target to tailor make and customize harassment for the target. So one of the target tactics can be it's like if you're a TI and you call your grandmother phone and be like, hey, how you doing, grandma? And the grandma's like, oh well, I'm worried my cat got sick. I might have to take it to a vet. Maybe it will die. And then you go, you know what, grandma, I would be surprised if it was the program that poisoned your cat to bother me. I'm not joking, this type of stuff can happen. Uh, Target loved ones and pets and loved ones and your pets, things like this. and then you kind of hang up and you go outside right after, and they have like two people standing to have like a directed conversation, it's called, and be like, oh yeah, as you pass them, be like, my grandma's cat is sick, it got poison or something like this. See, and it's like that's something that you just said on the phone like 7 minutes ago before leaving your home, and it's like they have some stalkers that got told by the handler to be like ready and what's my line when you walk past them to go like say a line, and it could be referencing something you said on the phone recently, and with like a twist where it could be like gaslighting or something like this. To be like reference a cat got sick and it's like it got poisoned. Be like, oh yeah, the programmer is saying communicating by these people that they did poison my grandma's cat. See? And then if it's something that really bothers you, get irked about it and angry, it's like enough is enough. They're poisoning like loved ones' pets to get at me. It's like, oh, that is like battleship. That's a hit. That took. See, throw something at the wall. Double down on that, and now they become can be like a theme or perps talk about cats around you. So you go to the supermarket, it becomes like a theme of harassment now. It's like after this, it's like another problem. It's like double down on that, and you go to the supermarket, like there's always somebody talk about cats around you now. And then you're noticing it, you become sensitized, it's called. It's a pattern behavior. It's like a lot of times the flying monkeys will talk about a cat within earshot when you're in the supermarket. So part of the base of our experience is you already know this, people get sent to go where you are repeatedly, hence gang stalking. There's groups, bunches of people, several people multi-stalking, hence the term gang stalking, okay? It's not criminal gangs doing it, and it's not gang members targeted. Gang stalking means a gang of reasons, a bunch, okay? Several, okay? So part of the baseline experience, you already know this. Like, yeah, every time I go out in public, these people are sent to go where I am. There are flying monkeys, people work for the program, and they get told to do subtle things to make you feel harassed. So something that I just explained is explaining how they can target you. See? It's like spying on you. They know like what push your buttons, like, oh, this target tactic. Talk about pets being poisoned has got a target irate, and it's like they're starting to get mad about it, given the stress. And now it's like becomes a new theme where the stalkers that always show up where you are get told to talk about cats, poisons, okay, things like this. And eventually it can be they can go from verbal to incorporate a visual theme now. And like a lot of times that the person told to wear a t-shirt with a cat on it, or do you understand? They can have visual references. It becomes like a theme of harassment, like just cat. It can be so simple. It's like people used to wear cat out a lot, or wearing a shirt, t-shirt with a cat on it, things like this. So just referencing something Reese said or did in private is sufficient for the target to detect that it's like this is somebody. This person just said something that the other people might in the same environment might seem innocent. Just some people are having small talk about a cat. Okay. But to the target that has their personal experience, where it's like every day they go outside and there's some of these stalkers like used to work cat around them or something like this. Um, yeah, so it's called narcissistic dog abuse tactics, where they can make you feel harassed as a target without other people able to detect it. Now does that sound like something good and noble and like in the light of day that Christian ministry should be involved in? Like harassing people covertly. And the same program that targets me, ministries like Stephen Ash, the Bible Sheriff, Frank Arnold, they will send people if I go like, yeah, here's just the facts, man. There's a program targeting me. Okay. They send people to my chat saying this guy's a crackhead, method on drugs. Don't believe him. He's paranoid. He's crazy, kind of stuff. See.
This website.
So this is real TR Chuck Langberg. And this is like the only person I bet on. Well, not the only, but one of few. Okay, one of few people from all the years being a TR researching this, experience with couple of research. Like one of few people that is like I've come across that was valuable and that I would bet on that he was a real TI. Okay.
And this talk show focus on what I am certain of: gang stalking. Who pays the disinformation shills? Considering the endless funds that are spent deploying gang stalking, the cost of a paid disinformation show brigade to continually flood the gang-stalking discussions with crazy-sounding talk ought to be a drop in the bucket. The risk of being sent to a mental institution. If a TI mentions harassment to an authority figure, they risk punishment of psychiatric quote unquote care, which would further.
Yeah, and that happened to me. And I've seen Stop by the Feds Lisa talk about that too. Uh, Now that happened to me, where I had for a long time been talking about, yeah, they're working to get me into psych ward. Okay. And basically what happened is adorable, like classical adorable. So keep it vague enough and precise enough here is my intention. Go. So basically I got put in a psych ward against my will, sectioned, like Swedish equivalent 5150, I guess. Okay, for an eval. And what preceded that was not just me saying that that's one of the goals of the program that targets me for years, that they get me to psych ward, and if they do, possibly murder me, they make it look like suicide. And the reason that I'm saying that is self-defense. So it's like there's a reason why Alex Jones is a fake truth. He has on like some whistleblower, be like, tell everybody you're not suicidal. Because if there's some real scoop, Alex knows this, like, yeah, the deep state might take this person out and tell people, oh, they could kill themselves. Okay. Like Epstein say. Okay. Now you don't have to be Epstein running PDF document island to for that to happen to you. Okay. You're more likely to have that happen to you if you're exposing that type of stuff. Okay. So anyway, here's the point. So yeah, I've been talking about that and how I know that they're working to get me to psych ward, and if they do, I won't be surprised if they got plans to take me out in there, make it look like I did to myself, or make me have an accident or a health problem in there, or something like this. So when I went to the psych ward, I was like, "This is my bed," and I made peace with it. So be wise as serpent and as harmless as doves. So I had peace in there, like Dan and the lions den. Where it's like I was like, this might be it. I was in an environment where it's like they've got me checkmate, okay, checkmate. It's like this is what I've been like seeing that this is what it says to work towards. Get me in a psych ward. Now you're in a institution controlled by the same state that targets you, and in a controlled environment, a good predictor of future behavior is significant, consistent past behavior. So you're talking about a program that has exploited opportunistically any vulnerability that you have to target not only psychologically but physically and all this stuff. So it's like it's a rational expectation, suspicion that this might happen to you, like with your experience and research and this. So basically, I was like, okay, this might be it. Okay. And it's like I was in there, okay, this might be it. Okay. This might be it. Okay. It's like, and kind of like, well, they might try to take me out of here and kind of game plan out how well they might make me have an accident or take me out, make it look like a suicide. Like, for example, they have agents in every hospital. Okay. So if you have a hospital with like 50 plus employees, you're going to have at least one person, a nurse or a doctor or a surgeon. That's like an agent already. And it's not like they have to get in there and like recruit somebody. They have agents all over society. This is part of what makes me dangerous in deep state because we got one that can see. So they have someone in every school, every church. They have agents all over the place. Okay. Like influence agents. And this is how they work to micromanage society. And they believe they have the right to do that, the deep state. It's not just about control the media and stuff. No, you already have what I've been told in the video. You have somebody at your workplace as a deep state agent. You have somebody that's like a nudge agency, where it's like, oh, we work to control this person. So have a co-worker say, do you understand? It could be something simple like this. It's micromanaging. I call it playing scenes of people's life in my analysis, explaining what I've seen. So let's say you're working in at a workplace, and the deep state is spying on everybody. It's like, we don't want this person to go to Spain for a reason. They're going on vacation. We would like them to go to Honduras or like to go to Spain, let's say. And it's like when they know that you're thinking about going on a vacation, they have someone like, hey, I can recommend going to Spain on vacation. And they're like somebody's an agent at work. So they're like nudge agents that work to like subtly manipulate everybody, the control factor. They work to control everybody. Okay. To the point of, and this is kind of hard for people to believe, same as you don't want to believe this is true. that they've been spying on you. They've been listening to all your phone calls. If you're a guy, you've been fapping to internet porn like a filthy freak. I don't anymore. But if you've been watching internet porn and playing with yourself in front of a laptop or on your phone in the bathroom, they got videos of yourself playing with yourself. Okay. They got videos of yourself. They got like a vault, like zip folders of like this guy playing with himself, and they got like screenshots and pictures, what to look at when they're doing it, and like videos of himself naked, things like this. And you don't want to accept this reality. So the issue is that targets know that you're being spied on. Everybody's being spied on. They're remotely accessing people's cameras, microphones, they're GPS tracking people, kind of like the Batman movie, where they like the hacker system that can see like cell phones where everybody is and something like this in real time. So and that's another thing that will a lot show the hidden plain view truth, because we got what I can see. I know the reality. That's why I'm dangerous to these people, because I see the truth. That's why I can make videos showing foreshadow the pandemic in Hollywood movies, decoding it. But hey, they were hinting about what's going to happen, just like they did with 9/11. Like I had videos before the pandemic, making videos like that, where it's like, oh yeah, they were foreshadowing 9/11 before it happened. This, that. Foreshadowing means they were kind of like, hey, this is what we're going to do in the future. Only so subtle that it's possible, but people that you're reading too much into your question mark. Okay, you see. Now in hindsight, some people can see it. Same thing with the pandemic, the global health crisis. I can find foreshadow of that in whole news, pop culture. Okay, uh, words I never said, Lib Fiasco. That's a unique find. Uh, the Desmond in the Hatch episode of Lost is another instance, which, to my knowledge, nobody told me. There's other things people have told me. Hey, Mike, check out. I mean, the foreshadowing. Check out Simpsons. They predicted Trump being president. But it's just like, okay, some people know about the Simpsons predictions, but these are unique finds where it's like I find instances of foreshadowing in pop culture that nobody told me is in there. Like the Luke Fiasco video, Words Never Said. I used to listen to that a lot before the pandemic hit. Okay. Now, anyways, the point. So, where's I going with this? I've started going down a certain route here, and I kind of forgot where I was going with it. I was working towards a point. I thought I was working towards a point, and you get off detour and forget where you were going. So that's the point. Um, I'm a persecuted Christian tar with gangster tar videos. Okay, my name is Mike Sass, born 1999 in Sweden. Okay, and I live in Oxelösund, Sweden. Okay, I was born and raised in summer haze, bound by the surprise of my glory days. Yes, I'm still here. So, what is my point? Yeah, so okay, the psych ward experience. Okay, so I went to a psych ward, and from everything I've been talking about, I believe that they got Chuck in the psych ward and then murdered him because he became bored of the state. Is what I found researching him. So I found his material after he was dead. Okay, to my knowledge, I don't remember coming across any of this information while being a target for many years. But it was after he passed, I think, that I found this. And researching, all I can find is like Chuck Langberg became a ward of the state and passed after that. So I believe he was murdered. Okay. And I know enough to know where it's like game planned it out. And one of the favorite ways of the deep sea to take people out is to make it look like a suicide accident or just basically like a cover up. Okay. Plausible deniable. And I was thinking, okay, this might be it. I've been talking about my streams, like, yeah, I want to go to the programs, get me in the psych ward, and then maybe take me out of there, something like this. And I go to the psych ward. And I was in this. We go to the end. They claim the end from the beginning. Then we go to the beginning. Okay, talk a little bit more possibly. So I'm in this psych ward there, and I'm like, this is it. Okay, okay, this might be it. And I made peace with the fact that I was quite possible about to die. So here's the point, and that's the beauty of it, where even though I was faced with certain death in there, it's like perceptive reality. So it's like I'm thinking like I will bet at certain points in this like 90% sure that I'm gonna be taken out of here. Okay. And then kind of okay. So it's like 90 to like 99, and it's like not never like no, nothing's gonna happen. Never that. Okay. So which is a reasonable suspicion. Not discounting God's ability to keep me alive, but looking at my situation, it's like I could see how that might be something that God might allow in the situation. So that's the point. I was in there and I was thinking about this, and I was like, okay, I might be taken out of here, but I had peace about it. So I was focusing on life is not about what happens, but how you respond to it a lot. So I wasn't panicking there. I wasn't screaming, "Don't kill me!" Or this. I wasn't acting out of violence. I was kind of doubling down on my Christian. Be sober as be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. See? So I wasn't in there like starting fights with people. So for this, I was there saying my prayers, and I'd be like a great man in there. When they couldn't tell this guy's a super religious guy. It's like I'm just a guy sitting like the cafeteria and being kind of a boring guy and kind of focusing on keeping like just relaxing and minding my business. It's like I'm not like playing a role. I'm in there being me, and then respond to my circumstance in an adaptive way more than maladaptive. It was my focus. So, but basically, it's like I'm in here and accept my circumstances, and I was praying to God. I was reading the Bible in my brain, which is one of the benefits of having an autistic savant brain, where I'm able to read the Bible in my brain, like you see me quoted by heart a lot of times, where I didn't get to bring a Bible, and to my knowledge, there was no like Gideonite's Bible there, but I was reading the Bible in my mind and praying to God and keeping my peace. Now it was like, oh, like some kind of show, like making a spectacle, like the Pharisees for pretense, like praying for people. Oh, I'm praying to God or something. I just like an average guy there, but I was doing on the inside, which other people can't see. I was praying, I was reading the scriptures, meditating on it, and things like this. So that will keep in perfect peace his mind is stayed on this, something like this. Blessed is the man. Uh, yeah, so basically, this verse is about if you focus on the word of God and you're praying and walking in faith, you can have peace. So I had peace. And there was moments of time, it was like straight peace all the time. There was not really fear, I wouldn't say, but uneasiness and kind of like not feeling safe in there, okay? But it's like this is not a safe, comfortable environment, and I might die in here. But I wasn't like in panic and super scared. There was moments of stress and tension where it's like, yeah, I might get hurt in here, and I don't really like that. But eventually, it got to a point. Also, part of like a thing where I was in the smoke room and I was thinking about this might be okay, and I'm going through this, I'm preparing to die basically. You know, I'm making peace with my mortality. This I might come to my end here. And there was moments where it's like maybe I try to make calls like Amnesty International, like a lawyer or something like this, and to like what do I do? And like contemplating like my moves. It's like what can I do to protect myself and to try to get out of this. And basically, it was nothing that I turned to other than praying to God and believing that He could get me out. And also being resigned to my faith that God's providence, quote unquote. That it's like I'm praying to God, I will help to get out of here alive. And God has the power to keep me alive. And if I perish, I perish. Like if God's plan is for me to this is how I meet my end and that's how it is. And for a while, and there was also moments of like, oh, maybe I should try to do something to get out of here. And I'm not saying like plot an escape necessarily, but they had like a board where it's like you could call a priest or like a lawyer, so it's kind of stuff. Like a message board was like so it's like want to talk to a priest or type of numbers. Okay, it's like a message board in the cafeteria where they have like numbers and some like patient rights notice or something like this. I was thinking about maybe I can make a phone call and be like, I want a lawyer. I'm held against my will, or what can you call Amnesty International? This is I'm being abused. I'm held against my will in a place without having been charged with a crime and pleading guilty of anything against my will, and it's like tortures. And I'm not being dramatic. Okay, that was a torturous existence because it's like, yeah, okay. So I'm not going to think about certain things too much because that can deal to violent sounding speech, which I'm not trying to get into right now. So I started thinking about certain things. I can start a certain feeling, starting to warm up inside me, and I know from experience that if I kind of don't restrain that, I end up saying or doing things that I regret later on. So that's the point. My point is this. Um, so here's the thing: righteous indignation, you could call it. So I was in there, and how was I responding? Is that I was relaxed and calm mostly, and there was some tension and like stress, which it would be even without the aspect of like conspiracy theory, where it's like they might take my helmet or video. Just being an autistic person in the same environment, it would still be like a stressful thing. Okay? So, anyway, my home is autism adapted. I wear sunglasses and earplugs. I don't have fluorescent light bulbs. I don't have LEDs. I got sensitivities, which means exposure to auditory visual stimuli of certain types and intensities can be very stressful for me. Okay, and give me stress and anxiety and such as this, and basically be really fatigue. There's a lot of side effects. Meaning, if I sit in a room with fluorescent lights, my sunglasses, and there's like noise going on without earplugs, I might get super exhausted and fatigued. Eventually, before I might get stressed, I'm more likely to lose my temper and act out or something. It's like a meltdown. Okay? So here's the point. Um, Yeah, so it was a very toxic environment, like specifically, okay, because my home is autism adapted, and some of the ways that my autism affects me is sensitivities, and it's not like light in general. The sunlight, natural light, or candlelight, like firelight, like a campfire, or the sun is not as disagreeable to me as LEDs and fluorescents. And the Edison bulbs, it's like I have to buy special light bulbs because they don't even sell them in the supermarket anymore. It's like some kind of ban where they can't produce, but I think there's some kind of loophole where it's like possibly if people that have any stock still can finish this. I don't know, but it's like they don't have the Edison old school 90s era vintage light bulbs like anywhere where I walk in and look for them, okay? So I had to order from like a fringe kind of novelty light store where they have everything. So, anyways, the point. My home is autism adapted. So just the environment without the added kind of like if there's any tunnel going on or something like this, just that environment is stressful and as it is. So where's I going with this? I was in there, okay, and uh, I was having peace in there, okay. I was able to relax and have peace despite everything going on. Some tension and like stress, tension, nervous, energy, stress, but not really like panicking, fear type stuff. Then I was contemplating this might be where I meet my end. Was like, okay, they got me checkmate here. I've ended up in this psych ward, and I've been expected if I end up institutionalized, the system I kept as an opportunity to take me out and make it look like I did unalive myself or he had an accident or an inmate attacked and it wasn't an agent for the deep state or something. Do you understand? It's like I'm tying my shoes to some ransom that shanks me in the spine or something like this, okay? You understand? Or and I was also game plan out where eventually it's like I'm gonna sleep, okay? So let go ahead of ourselves here. So there was a moment where I was like, this might be it, and I'm having stress, and I'm going like, am I gonna try to get myself out of here or something. And I just focus on kind of thinking about what might happen, what they might try. Like if I need to try to get out of here, how do I do it? And things like this. And then I went to kind of not acting any of this, like maybe I could find a phone number and call a lawyer or this. Kind of thinking about this all and off if I need to do it. But praying through it all and talking to God and think about Bible verses. There was also a scene I was in the smoking room smoking. So they have a smoking room, which analyzing it, it makes sense because if you have a psych ward where people are in stressed states a lot of times, if you add nicotine withdrawal as a stressor on the person, like if a person is like already like in a commonly correlated like hand in hand with mental illness, real mental illness, it's like being stressed. Like a parent gets just like the illness out. A lot of people end up in the psych ward for good reason. It was like they got ran around in the supermarket, like turn off the brain reading machines or something. It's you, like the person in the store. be like, stop reading my mind, you witch, or something like this. Okay. See, so and then they're stressed and they end up being like stressed. It's like you're working for the aliens or something like this. Understand? So basically, if people have already like anxiety, stress, what is rare that people are mentally ill and peaceful at the same time. Okay. So if you would add withdrawal stress to that, that would not be smart. So it's like they're not exactly encouraging smoking there, but they have a smoking room, and people that have those cigarettes that they acquire somehow can't smoke there. So which makes sense because if you have people in a cycle where people are already like stressed and not in the right mind, if you add like withdrawal stress to it, that can make a person go nuts. That's not crazy. Meaning a person is a smoker who like quits cold turkey, they can go kind of nuts from the withdrawal alone. So if you already have people having mental issues and you add withdrawal stress, that's a recipe for disaster. So they weren't like encouraging smoking there, but it was you were able to do it, and they had like a smoking with a fan and you go in there. So anyway, I went in there and I was thinking about this, and I kept thinking about kind of making peace with mortality and things like this. And I thought there was a scene from one of my favorite movies, No Country for Old Men, where Enter Shigur has Llewellyn Orson, whatever it's called, played by Woody Harrelson, and he's got him like at gunpoint, got the drop on him. He's a checkmate. He's sitting there. Shigur has him at gunpoint, and Enter Shigur, the other guy, Orson, spoiler alert, is kind of pleading with him his fight flight freeze fawn kind of so he's kind of like you don't have to do this. So it's like Chigurh has got him at gunpoint. He's got his shotgun there. Okay, the bad guy, and it's like the jig is up, and Orson Welles is like you don't have to do this. Okay, I can get you some money. You let me live, or things like this. And then it's eventually gets to Chigurh time. It's like you should just accept your fate. There will be more. That would be more dignity in it. He said. Meaning he was kind of like trying to plead with him, get him to let him live, and he's like, you should just accept your fate. That would be more dignity in it. Okay. Um. Okay, and he says like, you go to hell, something for this. So what is the point? So that scene played in my mind, okay? Where it's like I was thinking about this because it's something that's similar to what I guess the character in the movie was feeling in that moment. Impending doom, like they're gonna get taken out, quite possibly. Face like a real, I might be taken out of here by some psychopathic predatory thing, okay? And it's like I'm in a physical situation, I'm kind of in a checkmate here, if you look at it, okay? So that scene played in my mind, and I go, kind of like, hey, Sarah, whatever will be, will be. So that was part of like mental processing of this. It's like a movie scene, okay? And then I'm thinking about it's like they possibly accept I will die in here, but will dignity rather be like, I don't know, kind of like act out and be all I write about it. So it was kind of like on and off, thinking they might take me out in here and feeling like stressed about it, and then praying, talking to God, meditating on the scriptures, having some moments of peace in there. And then it came where I've already thought about like how could it take me out, and it's time where I was gonna go to bed in the psych ward. Okay, they had the lights on 24/7 too, so that's another way that it's like not an environment that's conducive to mental health autistic people where it's like a light that's constantly on, okay, in the room that you're sleeping in. It's like high beams, low beams. You can turn off the high beams, but it's always a low beam in there. Okay. And you don't get to lock your door from the inside. Okay. So it's like being in a lion's den where I was thinking, okay, let's say they got plants in here, let's say. Okay, how could it take me out? Well, they could drug me like the last meal day, something like this, with some like scopolamine and Rohypnol or whatever, some kind of a tranquilizing agent that's like an induced coma level of sleep. Okay, where it's like you can be slapped in the face and somebody can burn it with cigarettes, you still won't wake up, kind of as a joke. Okay, do you get what I'm saying? Like they can sedate you in a way where they can do surgery on you, don't wake up. Okay, anesthesia. So like possibly some super strong drug that they get in me somehow, and then I fall asleep And it's like they sneak into my room and get like a noose on my neck and hang me out from the roof, and then be like, "Oh, the guy hung himself." Okay. Oh, why would they have it? See, do you understand? I've actually thought about this before going to psych ward. It's like I know that one of the ways they've taken targets out before, it's like how could they actually, and also hearing about non-TI celebs that is like they get taken out as a suicide, and speculating some people like yeah they took him out, some people it's like maybe not, like Anthony Bourdain or David Carradine. Okay, two celebs that when I heard that they supposedly unalived themselves, it's like what if this was the Illuminati taking them out for some reason? Maybe David Carradine got invited to Epstein Island reunion 2025 and he said no, or something like this. Or the first time, or Anthony Bourdain was into some kind of Me Too movement and there's some kind of conspiracy, whatever. But basically, um, I thought about that. If you drag somebody and then you put a noose around the neck when they're kind of out and then hang them up, it can be like, well, they took the life. Okay. So I was contemplating this, that as I went to bed, and I was contemplating maybe I just stay up all night and like with one eye open and looking at the door and wait for like the guys to come in that's gonna hang me out from the roof and go down swinging, like leave signs of a struggle to make it hard to fake the mortician's report of like a suicide. Because if I got like swollen knuckles, a black eye, a broken nose, a tooth knocked out, and like defensive wounds or something like this, it's harder to like. Do you understand? To be like waiting for the guys to come in, they're gonna hang me up, and like defend myself and go down swinging and leave signs of a struggle. There's something called defensive wounds. So if you're people get attacked with knives, sometimes they have like slashes on their arms that like that their human reaction might be like to cover it up a certain way, and there's something called defensive wounds. So basically, if somebody doesn't kill themselves and there's a fight that leads up to them hanging from the roof, there can be signs of that. Like for example, the mortician's report allegedly Epstein, there was like a broken, cracked something in his neck that doesn't really match with an injury you expect from a hanging, like a self-caused hanging. Okay, and there was like a huge guy, some corrupt cop allegedly. The guy was the next door neighbor, so I had like a plan in there, and there's missing video footage. And in the cycle, I don't even think they have CCTV cameras, unless they got like Illuminati hidden cameras for like the public reality TV show of like, oh, we're spying on everybody for our own entertainment or something like this. But it's like, to my knowledge, they didn't have CCTVs in there, which I think they should have. Kind of like before the cops started having body cams in Sweden, I was a proponent of cops having body cams. Okay. So anyway, it's the point. Why? Because it makes it less likely cops will abuse citizens and abuse their powers if they're on camera. See, it keeps people honest. See, it's less likely cops like frame you or plant drugs on you or beat you up without a good reason. Do you understand? As a citizen, if it's on camera. So anyway, here's the point. Yeah. So long story short, I was kind of uneasy. I think they might take me out. I was contemplating like if people come in here to get me, defend myself, and possibly I will leave signs that it's like I didn't go quietly, rather than just go to bed and then like wake up in heaven. So I was thinking about that, not being violent, like it just attack, but like if people come in here to unprovoked attack me or something like something, it's like I have right to defend myself. So nödvärnsrätten, the right to self-defense, it's not, there's no self-defense free zone. There's no place in Sweden where it's not allowed for you to protect yourself, okay, as a citizen. Meaning no matter where you are, if somebody's attacking you, you have a right to protect yourself, as far as I'm concerned. So they can do things to make you less effective protect yourself, like using restraints and things like this. Nice point. So I was in there, and I eventually I went to like maybe I'll sleep with one eye open, hugging your pillow tight, and I was thinking about maybe like staying up and waiting for the guys to come through the door, and or like a dart gun. And that's also a thing that was giving me stress. Like I'm in bed here, how easy would it be for them to have like a dart gun and walk past the door and hit me or something like this? So I was having some stress about that. Eventually, I went to it's like, you know what, I'm gonna have to sleep soon later anyway. Okay, and like, so said my prayers, prayed to God, help me survive and make it out alive, and eventually I kind of decided to let go and drifted off into sleep. And I woke up the next day, but thank God I'm still alive. See, okay, now this is all things going in my mind, and not really like acting it out. Okay, I'm not like running around. You're gonna kill me. It's like I'm thinking they might do that, and okay. So anyway, here's the point. So that was a different experience. Now, what preceded this? What preceded this, me being a target widow, is being harassed and abused by flying monkeys, so called, for this gang stalker persecution program. And I had started to go nuts from the targeting. So I'm not discrediting myself. I don't play a role where it's like I'm gonna act like it can play into the hands if I ever get livid and irate in my life change, because then I look more unhinged, and I know that that makes you less credible with the testimony. If like in a stress state and ranting and you leave it in anger and cussing into this, so it's like I'm gonna act as if I'm not affected by the targeting, like I'm gonna like fake it. No, it's like, yes, the focus is controlling yourself and not going nuts, but it's like if you really are targeted, you will be stressed. You will have, it will affect you. It's designed to. So if you're human, it's designed to push you over the edge. Okay. Due to the autism ADHD, I'd have a hard time keeping together the stress of life without being a target. And people working to stress me out, working to push my bridge, work to give me anxiety, working to push my boundaries and things like this. So I have enough on my plate to deal with the normal stresses of life, okay, without the targeting. So that's the point. Uh, the target is designed to push you over the edge and drive you nuts, okay? And then play devil against like, oh, look, the target is acting out in public, put him in a psych ward, or provoke you to lash out and act out and do something illegal. Okay, like you get harassed in the supermarket, they keep putting the numbers and hope like one of these days you snap in the supermarket, run around, thrashing around, and be like, oh, this guy was got violent. Like, why did he do it? Because of the targeting. But oh, they're paranoid and they're acting out physically based on the delusions and hurting people. So it's like they're going to psych ward. Okay, so basically, uh, I was targeted, and they're working to push over the edge and hurt you mentally and physically, and provoke you, provoke you, provoke you. And I'm not giving myself an excuse, but I'm saying, real. Let's be real. There's nobody can be harassed every day, online, offline, that sooner or later they won't have a day where they go nuts from the target and lash out or get livid or something like this. No person. We're not even talking about people like me that have ADHD and autism with lowered impulse control, lowered inhibition, and more vulnerable to stress and things like this. Okay, and brain inflammation, neuroinflammation. Okay, we're talking about the average Joe. If you keep targeting someone with this targeting, they're gonna be affected by it. And anything other than that is you dehumanizing the person. If you go, oh, the Mike gets mad sometimes in his stream, he's what a scumbag for this. Okay, I don't believe him. So here's another thing. The target is designed to provoke and stress you out. And then when you react to the targeting with overt aggression that's reactive in nature, to see, so you're provoked with covert aggression, meaning hidden, okay? Subtle. And but your reaction to the aggression, your reactive abuse, reactive aggression, whatever, it will be overt. So people don't see the button pushing, but they see your reactions to the button pushing, which serves the abuse and going like, look, this person is paranoid and unhinged and a nut job. So the testimony of being targeted all the time is like, and you don't have to rationalize this. It's perception management. So people will perceive you as being nuts if you're like in a stress state and leave it. So if I talk about this, for example, I'm the target of a secret persecution program called gang stalking. It's basically narcissistic abuse on steroids. There's also physical. Notice that delivery. If I go, I'm targeted by the government, that to get me. If that's the delivery, now I look more nuts to people. Say same like line read a different way. it becomes most people like this guy is freaking crazy. And if I would reach like 10,000 people in a video, like laying out the facts of targeting, delivery number two, contrast delivery number one, there'd be more people that'd be like, I think this guy might be speaking truth. If I'm not like in a living state, okay. So the issue is not like acting like the target is not affecting you. The focus is being as non-affected by the targeting as possible. Okay. See. So it's like that's the same. Like working to have the targeting not affect you as much as intended to and protect yourself. But here's the thing. I don't hold myself to a standard and be like, oh, yeah, I know from knowing psychology to this, that is like and perceptions to this. That is like, yeah, if I'm stressed and ranting about the targeting, that hurts my credibility to some people. Okay. So I'll only talk about the targeting in a calm state. And if I'm live and I start to get mad about targeting, it's like act like you're not worked up right now. Sometimes I don't do that. So here's the issue: the target that's intended to push over the edge succeed and push me over the edge. Whereas like I started, so here's the point. Mad, shall a person make the wise man mad, for that they provoke his spirit. Grievous words stir up anger. So here's the problem. The Bible says grievous words stir up anger. So what is the psychological warfare, narcissistic dog abuse tactic, subtle communication? It's grievous, hurtful words, only cryptic. So you're communicating it. This would be like a veiled threat, where it's like the words, the line was not, I'm going to kill you. So it's not counting as grievous words that stirred up anger in the person. No, if the person receives the message, if it was veiled and covert, it's like, well, they didn't say the words, they're communicating it, so it's still grievous words that up anger, in effect. See? So they work to talk with narcissistic abuse, cyber stalking, real life targeting, communication from flying monkeys, directed speech, and they're working to push your buttons and stir up your anger with the speech. Okay? And that's just one part of targeting. So yes, unless you're Jesus, the Bible says grievous words stir up anger. If you're a human that have emotions and people are working daily to stir up your anger with narcissistic communication, like the psychological abuser, it will happen that your anger is obviously stirred up. And like I said, the issue is your reactive aggression that is a response to covert aggression. It's like they will attack with covert aggression, subtle, and your reaction to will be overt. Your reactive aggression will be overt. It's like you're being bullied, you get mad at the bully, but if the bullying was covert, other people can tell the bullying, you look like a person is overreacting or you're unhinged or you're the problem situation. Okay. So anyways, the point. So basically, the targeting, narcissistic dog abuse, people pick on me, and I'll be vague and precise enough to get what I want to get said here. So it's a point. People kind of close to home, like neighborhood or city, and kind of getting into kind of closer to like specific individuals and things like this. Um, I'm like, yeah, these people have been targeting for the program, okay, and these people are targeting me and things like this. And the same people that had been taught with narcissistic dog abuse tactics work to push my buttons. After I start reacting to it, and I can't like shut up about it. It's like I end up ranting. I say, I'm mad as hell. I'm not gonna take it anymore. It's like this. It's like even in my own home, I get targeted. Okay, see, and it's like the same people that I was whispering at. These people have been abusing me. Okay, they're like, oh, Darvo, the person who started whistleblowing saying that we're abusing him, he's crazy and paranoid, and he thinks that we're out to get him, see? And he's been angry, see? Do you know how mad that is? That somebody is provoking you and abusing you, and then they get angry, like they're angry and they're angry. I'm the victim. We're worried about the person. Okay, so they're working to provoke you, and then when it works, eventually, and you start getting mad, it's like, oh, the person is an angry, violent person and paranoid and think that I'm out to get them and stuff like this. Okay, like theoretically, Minecraft server culture is Sweden. So here's the point. Uh, so yeah, Dorval basically. Okay. So basically, why they're not in the psych ward? Simple answer: I'm a Christian being persecuted by the satanic heathen state. Okay, state persecution is what I'm talking with, and it led to me reacting in a way as intended, where it becomes plausible deniable to get me into a psych ward. Okay, and that's what it is. Dodgeball tactics, basically. Okay, dodgeball tactics. Dodgeball tactics. Um, in my personal different opinion. So here's the point. So yeah, I got put in a psych ward for reacting to flying monkeys, and the flying monkeys that have been doing narcissistic dog abuse, that covert abuse, even some physical target tactics, in my view. They were like, after I start talking about these people, I've been in on it, kind of close to home. To okay, some of these people, maybe the plumbers, they understand something like this. Landlords will be in on a lot of times. I wouldn't be surprised if the landlord, the next time a plumber's going to come, and he'd be a flying monkey. It's like a lot of potentials and hypotheticals to talk about it, but it's like a lot of times it ends up being too close to home. Okay, from the abuse perspective. So it's like he thinks that people out to get him. He thinks people out to get him. Okay, so some of the same people that have been kind of saying that these people are targeting me, they go and paint me as a Darwin, classical Darwin tactics, where malicious intent is what I perceive. This malicious intent, meaning it's not that they're really concerned. A smear campaign can look a lot like concerned. Concerned. Oh, I'm worried about person so and so. Okay. They seem to be paranoid. They think that I'm doing extra, etc. I remember from NARC research, dip my toe in like the NARC communities. Okay, some of these people are wolf sheep started to controlled by the deep state psychopaths, sexual influencers. Now that's a different topic. Now here's the point, like counterintelligence agent. It's like, hey, we are the predatory, narcissistic, satanic Illuminati deep state, and we have an abusive system of control the world system. Okay. And some people will be targeted and they will run into the arms of the opposition we control, like Richard Granite being a system shield, for example. And he is a flying monkey of the deep state psychopaths. And people that are like targeted narcissistic abuse, they run into the arms of a controlled person. Here's another thing that is like dangerous truth in my analysis. I believe that there's a lot of people in the narc abuse channels that you have been targeted by an agent, which explains why suddenly a lot of people have the same experience. It's like the person switched, it's like one day flicked the narc abuse switch on. And before that, they won't look like a narc. But it's like some people reported, like if you look at narc abuse communities, they'd be like, yeah, the person was suddenly like they flipped the switch and became a narc or something like this. Yeah, because they could have been a flying monkey in their life, because they micromanage people's life. It's like, oh, we want Richard Granite to have this person for his wife, so let's send this person here. And then, do you understand? This is to the level that they are. They want to try to like control who you're going to end up with, what job you're going to have, what city you're going to live. This is the level of control that the deep state want to have with people. To be like control what people are doing to the details, like micromanaging. Be like, okay, like control freaks, really earning the title. I've seen that. Where it's like they work and they really want to control, and certain people especially. But in general, it's like, yeah, they want to control society. They want to control people. So it's not just like the group control humanity as a group. They control individuals. Okay, so there's like group targeting, and then there's like, oh, we want this guy to be a narc abuse coach, Richard Grannon, and like start working to get him to be that. They can be like kind of decide what they're gonna do for your life. So anyway, support. Now, this is more hypothetical and theoretical than the other topics. We talk about the micromanaged society, and there's some known unknowns there. Okay, so like it's exactly how many people are controlled to what extent, and you're gonna get specific. Is difficult from my perspective. Now, here's the point. So I started being affected by the targeting from flying monkeys, and I started talking about it. And the same people go on Dover camp and be like, "Mike is crazy, paranoid," and calling the cops on me. And the night that I went to the psych ward, I got was apprehended by a SWAT team, and they showed up here. And look at my medical records. I see a lot of lies in there and malicious intent. I mean, I can smell the intent from the words, what people have said about me to psychologists in reports, things like this, to get me there. I can see, like, yeah, looks like a person who's out to paint me as insane and not someone who's actually report reality. See, where it's like cherry pick things and like magnify one detail. It's like I can see like the intention, malicious intent, like there's an intention to paint me as crazy by some people that have said things about me to authorities to get me sanctioned. And it'll be the same people that I might have been talk about. I feel like these people are flying monkeys toy for the program. Okay. See. So anyway, here's the point. Um, so it's like here's the point. So maybe they were also hoping that I would be like a suicide by cop guy. That's like work to get him stressed out. That the days leading up to that, they be intense targeting, and they were working to crazy make me. So like the day leading up to this, I could tell that they were like the targeting, noise harassment, biting and stuff in the neighborhood. They were like going high gear all the time, like they were pushing for today game in the psych ward. Okay, like crazy making with the environmental targeting. Okay, meaning people in the neighborhood and things like this. All the run of mill targeting, noise harassment and perping in the neighborhood and things like this. Um, so anyway, it's the point. Uh, there was like I don't know, it's like maybe an hour after I got a call that I handed myself over. Okay, and that's a possible topic for another discussion. Like the what happened, like more specifically during like me being in here before handing myself over to the police. So it was a pretty please, you could call it. So it wasn't like a breach, bang, and clear operation. Where it's like they breach, I like they blow down the door, there's a flashbang flying into the door, they're like they're there, or okay, with guns pointing at you. So it's just kind of like a soft approach, like a pretty please, you could call it. Where it's like, hey, it's a call for you to come out, okay, and not like suddenly sitting here like bang, the door is blown open, it's a flashbang here, like guys with guns like get on the ground and stuff like that. You understand? So that's like a lot of SWAT raids or stuff like this that they play out in like the loud way, okay? Because most of the time, if people are called, it's because there's a good reason. Like there's a guy who's got another person hostage or got guns, they hurt somebody. Do you understand? And it's not like an autistic guy who's dealing with stress from being abused, who's just at home and has been ranting on YouTube videos, didn't hurt a fly, okay? So what is the point? Uh, so I was sitting like this, kind of like a stream, and I'm streaming and I'm stressed and ranting and stuff, and it's like I was expecting. It started off here. I was expecting there was like an appointment I'm gonna have, and then it's like they're late, they're running late. There are some people gonna come here like an appointment. They're running late, running late. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I get a text. It's like, we'll be a little bit late. And then it's like another text. I'm waiting. And then I get a text. It's like, or a call. The police and a doctor outside and they want to talk to you. Okay. And I'm like, oh crap, what is this? Okay. I'm like, all right. And that got me kind of worked up. I'm like, okay. And um, eventually it's like the so it's like I get a phone call, okay, and it's like, yeah, it's me, doctor. It's like a phone, and it's like somebody claiming to be a doctor or a police officer. I don't remember which one, and we want to talk to you, something like this. And I'm a total video. I've had people threaten to come get me before, cyber stalkers. We're gonna come get you and things like that. I've been threatened a lot, okay, on the internet. And I'm not dumb, naive. So it's not like if somebody calls me on the phone and be like, hey, it's the cops, walk outside unarmed. And it's like in the night, I'm going, oh, yeah, okay, I'll walk out. Do you understand? Okay, because it could be like a setup. Okay, especially if it's a video, you can't afford to be naive. Okay, so be super vigilant for absolutely there was raw line walked about seeking me devour. Okay, so basically, I get a call, and I paraphrase from memory. Okay, so it's like I get a call. I'm expecting I'm gonna have people LSS that complete with me. I get a text. They said we will be delayed, and I've already been like not sleeping all night, so I'm sleep deprived and I'm stressed. And here's the thing that I do sometimes. Meaning, let's say tomorrow at 7 in the morning I have a dental appointment, and my sleep is not always. I've never been a person since teenage years where I can be consistent for a month, like fall asleep at 7 and wake up the same day. It's gonna be like at least once a week, like a full night no sleep, and then a full day, and then eventually okay, I've never had like stable sleep long term. Okay. So my sleep is one of the issues I got, like the ADHD, autism, whatever. We don't have to get into details. But basically, so sometimes if I have an appointment and it's like, oh, it's 4 a.m. and it's not like I could have slept, I've been like not relaxed and kind of worked up. And it'd be like, let's say it's 3 a.m. and I got an appointment at 9 in the morning. I might elect to be, I stay up rather than go to bed because I know from experience that if I can perform better on no sleep than too little sleep. So it's like if I've been awake for a long time, I go to bed and I get 2 hours of sleep in the alarm rings, I might just turn it off in my sleep okay. So anyway, I had an appointment and I had been up all night, and then it's like, oh, I got an appointment today, maybe around 1300 hours, and it's like, okay, I'll stay up, okay, and get the appointment done, and then I can go to bed after the appointment's done. So I was sleep deprived, and the target was extra intense, like environmental psychology, meaning noise harassment, sounds, and this neighbor, crazy making basically. People in the environment be stressful. Okay, loud noises, noise harassment, things like this, just called crazy making. So uh, I was so I'd been up, I'd been not sleeping for 20 plus hours. Okay, more than 20 hours. And this happens quite often. People watch my YouTube channel know that. There's sometimes like I would make a stream in the morning. Today's grand post like about supplements. And then like 4 hours later I go live exercise off of this. And then like 4 hours later I go live playing video games for 3 hours. So it's like people can tell, and then I might be up all night, and then so it's like my sleep sometimes is not that good. Sometimes I'm awake for like 30, 40 hours until falling asleep. And in my experience, like up to 48 hours without sleep is doable if needed. But longer than that, it's like that's what you're playing with fire. Meaning longer than 40 hours after that, it's like you're playing with fire. Because there can be mood states that come over you that you don't have full control over and things like this. And it basically can affect you in strange ways. So it's like 30 hours with no sleep, doable. 35 doable. But once you pass like 40 hours of sleep deprivation, things get tricky, okay, and it can affect in ways where you'd be surprised like how you feel and think and stuff like that. So I support. So basically I've been pulling all nighter. I'm staying up to get the appointment done, and I can go to bed after that, okay. And it's like it's the time, it's like, did you don't show up on time? And I'm like, what the hell? And then I get a text, it's like, oh, we'll be delayed or something like this. And then it's like maybe 15, 20 minutes. A little bit later, it's like, yeah, we'll be still a bit late, okay. And then next, if somebody calls me or texts me, it's like, uh, the police and a doctor are outside and want to talk to you, okay. See? So it feels like treachery and deception, which also adds to like the blend of stressors if I'm analyzing it. So it's expectations and my rigid routines being, there's so many things I can, so it's like sleep deprivation, my routines being suddenly, unexpectedly altered in a very dramatic way. Okay. So it's not like we cancel today. I've been up all night and like preparing to see them. It's like I'm rigid about this or for this. And then it's like, "Wah, wah, wah, we're not coming." No, but it's like late, late, late. And then it's like they're not showing up on time as expected, and then like shock the cops and the doctor outside to see you. Okay, so at that point I got like really like the cops outside get me. I was already like stressed out, but once the grand reveal that it's like the cops and the doctor outside and they want to talk to me, now I got really stressed. Okay, and kind of okay, and I was doing like the ranting. It's the final countdown. So I went into get what I want to said mode until I get taken somewhere, and that's the end of me. Because I'm expecting the government gets me institutionalized. One of the things they might do is Epstein me or Chuck Langenberg me, take me out somehow. So I'm like, I'm a total individual, targeted with gang stalking. If they tell you I took myself out in there, don't believe them. If okay, it's like, I'm not gonna hurt myself. Uh, so whatever is the point. And okay, and it's like kind of like, yeah, I'm a part of the government, and it's like getting some bullet point facts out there, things I won't said it before, because this might be the last time on the video. And I was ranting, okay, so I was worked up and in like what you might call a manic state, more or less. I mean, I was worked up and like really uh, worked up, okay, and ranting, and it's like, okay, and eventually I'm like, first I'm like, oh, the cops are doctor, and I go, how do I know it's cops and a doctor, and it's not some troll on the internet or the gang stalking persecution program playing some game on me. So I'm like, okay, and it's like this a lot of verification. So eventually, I got a visual, like a PID, okay, a visual identification. So I was wanting to verify by sight that it's actual cops outside before I walk out. Okay, so I go out on the balcony and I look around. It's kind of dark, and I see a guy in. It looks like he could have a uniform. And it's like, is it a cop or not? And I look around, and eventually, it's like there's a video call, and I, I asked it to see that there's a police car parked outside to verify it's the police, and it's a police car, and it's like, okay, it's before I surrender and walk out, I want to know that it's police, okay, and not like people on the internet that try to lure me out or something like this. So okay, see, it's like they understand. So there's all kinds of things going through my head. Not being paranoid, it's like, I'm being reasonably suspicious, not trusting. Okay, I'd rather be overly cynical and jaded and kind of like dead naive if I would have to pick one side of the spectrum, one extreme or the other. So it took a while where it's like, okay, I'm starting to trust. It's the cops asked me to come outside, and I was eventually say, I guess it's taking too long, okay, and time is flying here, okay. So I guess it was taking time. I'm ranting and I'm stuff, and the cops are outside. Eventually, I get a call, and I know that the SWAT team, like, okay, the SWAT team is outside my door, okay, and I'm realizing that it's like it's stopping to be pretty pleased, okay, like trying to talk me out, and it's like it becomes clear to me. So they told me I'm not charged with a crime. So I'm also like, do I have to surrender? Or is it like one of these things were just asking me? Eventually it's like, no, it's not, pretty please. Like they demand that I come outside. And I think verified that if I don't come outside, you breach, right? Or something. It's like, yeah, if you don't like come out on your own volition, we'll break in. Okay. So once I realized this, like if I don't open, they're gonna break the door or a window or have the breach. Okay, and there's different ways they can do it. Like they could have the SWAT team could have a ladder go up on the balcony. That's a way they like to breach sometimes, or they could breach the door, or they could even do a simultaneous breach on two levels, or like a window and door at the same time synchronized, like 3, 2, 1 breach, and then like this. There's like six SWAT members come into the window, same time six SWAT members come through the door. Now it's not one of these situations where it's like high stakes and expecting all resistance. Okay, so they weren't really doing it like that. But here's the point. So it became clear that it's like unless I open the door and volunteer myself, like surrender, they're going to breach me. They're going to blow the door down. They're going to break it down. Heavily, they open it, and I guess the end outcome will be the same. I'll be taken away in cuffs and with a broken door and like damage to the environment and things like this. So it's like eventually I decided to turn myself over. And at some point of this, it's like I had knives on my person and I removed the knives and stole them away. And I told them, I gave them my word without lying. They say, I'll be unarmed as I'm coming out. Okay. So I'm armed right now. I'm always armed, right, like with edged weapons, which is fully legal. So if they would be right now swatting, I'd be armed with two knives at the very least. At the moment that they arrive, see. So it's like there's a point where it's like they're asking if I'm armed. It's like, yeah, I got knives on my go, but I agreed to take them off, and I'm intending to surrender peacefully. Okay. So I didn't put on ice because the cops were outside. I had them on already, and then I decided to take them off. So I go and I taken off the knives and stole them away, and I'm gonna go to open my front door, okay, and they're outside the front door, okay, they're the SWAT team, and I go to open it, and to last check, I'm gonna look at the peephole to just check that it's cops outside to see, and before I open the door, okay. So, and as I approach the door to open it, so I'm not going to find, I'm going to like open the door, be like, okay, I'm here, and look, and it's like they blacked out, so they covered the people. And that got like an adrenaline spike quarter. So I'm like, God, that's freaking out. I'm like, but they covered the door, okay? And I was like, that, for some reason, that got me stressed. Was I got off my knives, I got to like open the door, pull out, and be like, okay, let's go. And then it's like, I open the door, and I can't turn the handle, and it's black. So it's like I understand. So I gotta open. It's like I can't see, and I can't turn the handle, and that freaked me out. So I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And I started repeating back to the apartment, and that freaked me out. Okay, so and anyway, and I'm talking through the door, and I'm like, I try to go outside, I can't open the black guy. So that started freaking me out again. I'm like, they don't let me see who's outside. See, then it's like I got to put enough trust to open the door, but now it's like they're not letting me see who's outside, and I try to open, and they're not letting me open. So I got like a adrenaline spike course, and that got me like I start freaking out a little bit. Okay, and I'm like, oh, it started to figure out what's going on. Now you have to bear in mind that I'm like hyper adrenalized and like in fight flight mode, and uh, hyper adrenalized fight flight mode, sleep deprived, and there's like a thing that there's on when outside my door, and there's something that just to trigger. I guess I got that freaked out, and eventually I go away from the door. I try to touch it, and they're holding it somehow. And that's the tradecraft how they're doing that. If they have some brains, or if it's just like a manpower. And I didn't do like a let's see who's got the strongest. Do some arm wrestling. I gotta try to open it despite it might be the cops standing out there or having something under it. But they were blockers on the outside, as I was blocked on the inside before. So I have like a burglary device that even if somebody has the key or picks the lock, they can't open the door. Okay, it's for security, which means if somebody wants to pick my lock when I'm sleeping, even if they have the key or pick the lock, it's not easy to open the door. So I was had it secure from the inside, so even if they turned the handle, it wouldn't open the door. And when I removed that and be like, okay, I open the door, come out. Now they do the same from the outside. Okay, and I can't see them. So it's like, I'm like, okay. So, and I didn't just like start. I just touched it, could feel this resistance. And I'm like, let go of it, and then I walk in here. And I was live streaming this around the too, like from this angle, okay? And the door is around that corner, okay? So I go in here, and then uh, here's the thing too. So I walk in here, and I'm pacing, I go like around, and it's like, I guess I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm here, okay, you can come in or something. Could they let me open it, come outside? And then I walk around the corner. So I kind of pace like this. And I go like, yeah, okay. So I'm ranting. So whatever. Okay, I'm here. Did it. Okay. And I go here and just walk in. And then by surprise, like the element of surprise, I didn't hear him open the door. But like as I turn the corner, I walk into the kitchen. Like suddenly I see that the door is peaked and they have a guy there. Okay. That's it. So they caught me by surprise, the element of surprise. So now they didn't have guns put on or something like this, but it's like he was, there was, I guess the point man, okay, who had like, he had eyes on me, okay, one way. And at that point, I just show my hands, okay, and I don't have anything, keep my hands visible. And he gives me like commands and be like, okay, approach the door, put your hands out like the crack. Okay, so keep it crack and then I approach the door, hands visible. Can you put your hands out like the crack of the door, maybe this much, and you take a look in there. Then I go, yeah, sure, and I put my hands out, and then like at the last moment was like, put your hands out the door, and I go, oh, you got like throw me on the ground or something, because I'm thinking there's like a move, like an arm drag, like a takedown, where if you have just one hand or both hands and you just pull on it, you can like force somebody around by the waist if you can like control one arm. So I was thinking like possibly he's gonna like grab me and throw me on the ground. So I asked like, what? I said, put your hands up. I go throw them on the ground. And he goes, no. I go, okay. Put on the hands and put cuffs. And it was uneventful. So it was not that. It was like the most undramatic SWAT team operation possibly, like that month, like or something like this, because there wasn't any bloodshed, violence, bruising, or something like this. So there was mostly. It was kind of like the standoff for a while, no negotiation, and eventually open the door. So if I hadn't, they would have breached, okay? And at that point, I decided to surrender. Okay. Now, surrender sounds like I had hostages. I'm saying like surrender meaning like give myself up. They want me to come to them and give myself over to them. And if you're like, I'm staying in here unless you have water, it's like, yeah, we're gonna break the door. The other side, so I realize it's not like pretty please. It can happen sometimes. Like maybe you are playing music on an afternoon on a Friday, and your neighbor calls the cops to be like, it's a noise complaint, and some cop shows up or a security guard and be like, hey, it's loud. Why don't you open and let us come in and talk to you? And they go, no. And they could be like, unless you return what they want, I'm not opening the door. Am I suspect of a crime? You talk to your mailbox. Am I suspect of a crime? Do you have a warrant? And they go, no. And they might not, unless they change laws. They can't like force, they can't break your door because they want to ask you something. Like if they don't have an arrest warrant or a warrant for your home or something like this, or something is happening that they have reason to believe somebody's been killed in there or something, there's a crime has been committed. If it, in some cases, if you don't, that there can be cases where a police officer will ask you to do something, and the average citizen might feel like it's an order, like they have to comply. But cops all the time ask people things, and people feel like they have to comply, but they wouldn't have to. Like to give an example, several times when I'm outside live streaming, doing like IRL streaming, it's happened. I'm outside walking, doing a YouTube live stream. There's a cop car shows up, do a U-turn when they see me, and like the first thing out of their mouth is like park the car and approach me like, "Hey, why don't you turn that off right now?" And the first thing I will say all the time is make the noise. I'm live on the internet right now. Okay, I'm live on YouTube. Okay, and I go, "Why don't you turn that off so we can talk?" Or something like this. Why don't you turn it off? Or say, or like turn it off. Um, but I know the law, and somebody does not know might feel like, oh, the cop is telling me to do something, and I have to listen to this. When in reality, there could be things like, would you mind if I search your vehicle, sir? Like American border camp videos, you see a lot of this. There's not as many border camps in Sweden because whatever. So that's the point. Sometimes you see like a cop, and he doesn't have reasonable suspicion, like a search warrant. He doesn't have the authority right now to search a car, and they might try to be like, hey, would you mind if I just open the door, look around a little bit, sir? And see, now, if they have a warrant or something like this, they can break the door. They don't have to ask you. You understand? So sometimes the cops will ask you things, and you might feel like you have to comply. But in certain situations, they're just asking you, but they don't have legal authority to demand it. Okay. Okay. So my point is this: once I realized that it's not pretty please asking me, kind of like the YouTube, would you mind to like turn it off or something like this? And I go, no, I'm aware of my rights and the right to film. And they go, yeah, okay, you got a point. I say, but it's kind of like they tried. See, okay. But here's the thing. Um, I realized I wasn't pretty pleased. Okay. Was like try to come on and come out. It's like if I don't voluntarily go outside, they're gonna breach. Okay. And eventually, so it was kind of maybe a 1 2 hour process from the first like contacting a doctor and cops would talk to me to the door opening. And I'm not sure. I had to go look at the live stream, but it was uneventful. It wasn't. It could have turned out worse, but it didn't. So here's the here's the point. Yeah. So whatever. A big part of the time was just spent me wanting to verify there was like police and that I was dealing with. Okay, that was a big part of it, and then also yeah, whatever. So it was a SWAT team. Now it wasn't like it was how do you explain it? It's like soft approach. Okay, so a lot of SWAT raids. if SWATs are involved. Like a lot of what like statistics, I don't know exactly, but quite a lot of their work is like to breach bank clears, meaning it's like they break in, flash banks, and get in there and get. I understand. Like a lot of what they do are things like that. But like somebody okay, like armed and dangerous barricaded suspect or hostage situation, or somebody that's like a felon is gonna be arraigned like they have a warrant or something like this. So things like this. So maybe I don't know, but this is possibly kind of rare that it's this kind of non-eventful. I don't know statistically. So here's the point: it's not like America where every police department had a SWAT team. It's kind of like they don't have like they don't send them out with it. It's not supposed to. So anyway, there was a SWAT team as far as I know, and they're having not blue gear. They have green, like OD green or olive or whatever. They have like brownish greenish colors and plate gears and ballistic helmets and things like this. So there's gears they don't see on normal comms. Now here's the point. It was uneventful, but it could have been worse, okay? It could have been worse. And maybe next time. And it's more like a matter of if, as far as I'm concerned, than when. I'm not trying to sound like negative, but it's like for me, I've been thinking about this recently, on and off. It's like it's might just be a matter of time until I get taken away again by the state, some way, somehow. Okay, and maybe next time it won't be that it just showing up, knocking on the door, and ask me to come outside. It might be like a shock and awe type situation where it's like something suddenly. It's like it's a door explodes and there's a flashbang here and there's people screaming or something like this. I won't be surprised. That's the thing. Maybe my enemies were hoping that I was gonna be like freak out and end up being shot in that situation. So I'm sorry to disappoint you bastards. If there were people that were like, yeah, I hope Mike is gonna end up getting aggressive with the SWAT team and end up being shot or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. I thought about that too. There's probably some people might have got disappointed. They're hoping I will end up being somehow harmed in the situation. So it's like I hate to disappoint you people. Okay. So anyway, support. Um, I'm not gonna get into too many details, but they had like a SWAT team there. As I opened it, I saw they had a breaching tool at the ready next to the door. And I talked to my mom about this event actually. We met for lunch after this holiday were over, after I was released from the psych ward. And I told her, we'll talk about this kind of processing, like debrief or whatever, like talk about the thing, because she was involved in this kind of secondary aspect. So here's the point. Uh, and I told her that when the Romans would lay siege to like a defender, when the Roman army would lay siege to a city or like a fortress, like a walled city, they you would have up until the time that the murbreaker, as they call, like the thing that breaks down the door, up until the point that like the head of the thing that you ram the door with touches the door, you can negotiate yourself out of the situation. But once like the battery ram hit the door, just tap it once, that signals like negotiations over. You're not allowed to surrender anymore. So that will be part of how they would do sieges. Where it's like once the battery ram like touches the door of the city, you forfeit the right to negotiation. But up until that point, you can still negotiate. So, anyway, it's a point, and it might be part of it like modern myth or possibly part of history, but not also history. But yeah, basically, so um, yeah, okay, so yeah, that was a interesting situation, okay, and it could have gone worse, but yeah, it went well after all. Okay. Now, out of fire, pen into fire. Once that was over, I'm like, okay, they take me to psycho now. And I was interviewed by some doctor who I believe made a wrongful assessment. And she'd be like, okay, I'm signing off on him being sent to the psych ward. So it's like, it's not enough that someone says you're crazy, the cops can get you. It's only a little bit. And it shouldn't be. So it's like, it has to be a doctor that meets you, not remote diagnose you, that meets you in the flesh and like talks to you and make an assessment to take your freedom away from you, like to sign off this guy needs to be taken against his will to psych ward and held there. Okay, uh, and I walked down the stairs, and here's another thing too. Once I was cuffed, and I think behind my back. Um, yeah, and I'm like, can we take the elevator, or are we taking the elevator down or something? I might have asked them, and they go no, and we're walking downstairs, and I go okay. Maybe they make me have an accident on the way down. It was like the guy was leading down the stairs and he tripped and hit his head or something like this. So I'm like, I'm cuffed behind my back, so make sure I don't fall, okay? Like I don't want to trip here, okay? But or something like that. Like, yeah, we got it under control. Don't worry. So I wasn't trusting them. Okay, okay. So that's the point. Once I get downstairs, I'm sat down in a chair, and there's a white coat there, and it's like with a legal pad or whatever, some notebook, and they're talking to me. And I didn't say anything that proves I'm crazy. So basically, one of the things I said was something to the effect of, I'm a Christian, a child of God. Okay. Which is not like meant, that's the type of stuff I say all the time on YouTube videos. I'm a Christian, a child of God. Okay. I'm a child of God. Okay. I'm a Christian. Okay. I'm a Bible. Do you understand? So it's like who you're dealing with. So it's like before you start abusing, they need to know whose child they're messing with. Okay. First of all, who's also the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. So I'm letting them know, okay, there's like, it's not just a human being. I'm a Christian, a child of God, okay? And that felt meaningful to communicate. And I wasn't thinking about, well, that's exactly what you shouldn't say anything spiritual if you talk to the doctor is going to decide if you're going to the psych or not. I also want that in front of witnesses. So in case I go to the psych ward, the people that witness it be like, some of his last words before I got taken to the psych ward and died in there somehow was, I'm a child of God, a Christian. And do you understand? Kind of like breadcrumbs. Because that's what it boils down to. I still hold to that. What is the reason you can go all kind of angles that end up in a cycle? Because I'm a Christian being persecuted in the nation of Sweden by the state. That's the cut to the chase why they end up in a psych ward. From being for many years a persecuted Christian, targeted with state persecution. Okay. And that's what culminated eventually led to me end up in the psych ward. So that's, I guess, the thing that sounded the noddest that I told her was like, I'm a Christian, a child of God. And she was asking me like, how do you, how do you, so I guess it's like interesting to me, like, why did she put me in the psych ward? And like, if they would be like, well, he said he's a child of God. So okay, it's like your thou has said that the reason I got put in a psych ward was because I testified that I'm a child of God, a Christian, and that's why the state decided I'm crazy and need to put me in a psych ward. What else was it that I said to the woman that proved that I'm crazy? Okay, other than I'm a child of God. Okay, something like I'm a Christian, a child of God, not the only begotten Son of God. There's some people that have mental illnesses that they think that they're the Antichrist, either the Antichrist or like the second coming of Christ Himself or something like this. No, but I'm saying I'm a Christian, a child of God. Okay. Um, and she's asking me a question, how do you feel today? And I go, I've been stressed. I didn't sleep well, so for this. It's like, obviously, I'm kind of stressed right now. Okay. Which you don't have to be mentally ill to be stressed and tense if you're in cuffs and there's like six cops around you and you suddenly, it's like the cops show up to take you somewhere. If you're not stressed at that point, maybe you're not human. That's the point. Um, so here's the point. I end up in the psych ward after like much ado about nothing, and nobody died, nobody got hurt, well, nobody died, and it could have been worse. Okay, so it could have been worse, and maybe some people hope that I would be like get violent and then the cops will come and I'll end up like trying to fight them and end up being shot or something like this. So if people are disappointed, I'm glad. Okay, so I was talking with abuse, gang stalking is abuse. I've been talking for more than a decade, and some people made reports about me. And look at my medical records. It looks to me as if quite possibly there's malicious intent there. Like somebody is like trying to paint me as crazy and I need to go to the psych, or crazy and bad, see. As if somebody's like trying to paint me as crazy and bad. Okay, like nitpicky, take things out of context, magnifying something, not being true to accounts, like saying something had happened and hadn't happened, or at least not in the way that they said that it had. So it's like I can smell the intentions. Like it looks like someone trying to smear me and then paint me as a bad guy. Let's go to the psych ward. Interesting enough, people, the same people that I've been talking about, have been abusing me for the gang stalking program. Quite possibly, my personal opinion. So I'm a persecuted Christian, Torvido, and I'm not going to shut up about this. Okay, nothing I've said in this live stream is illegal or something that I'm like, oh, I went too far. Sometimes it happens that I lose my temper and she might his hand up ranting. It's like even for me, it's too out there. We understand, and I had to go. You know what? I gotta have to pull this video. It's a little bit over the top, like the aggression, something like this. Or okay, it could be like the cuss word called out or something. I saw we had Lola in here. Okay, I don't know if she was here 15 minutes ago, 30 minutes. I purposely click away so I don't see the chat box a lot of times now, because if I don't, a lot of times the people showing up working to push my button. Not the person Lola who just showed up, but like blank harassing accounts to show up to. Just troll me in the chat to get me irate and angry, to provoke me. Okay, so a lot of times I click away and then I spend the minutes, like 15, 30 minutes talking. I feel like, okay, I'm done talking, check if I got any comments. Oh, this person was in here before. So anyway, do I want to keep the stream going or finish it up? We'll see. Okay, we had Lola in here, Sal Solo, and she's not one of the cyber stalkers, but some people show up in my chat are cyber stalkers, and sometimes somebody starts up in acquaintance and they get talked to, okay, and then they want to look like the dog or switcheroo. It's like Mike is the guy that gets betrayed by acquaintances and friends all the time because the pro recruits them to be a flying monkey, and Mike is mad about it, and then it's like same there. It's like they didn't see the person turning on me, they see me reacting to it, and be like, oh, Mike is the guy that turns on his friend for no reason all the time. No, no. It's like these people get recruited and put up the target me. And here's the point. Remember what I told you. If I end up in an institution and I die and they murder me, I don't care what they tell you. Okay. Oh, he slipped. He this happened. That he had a health problem. Okay. Oh, he unalive. Don't believe them. If I end up institutionalized and I perish now, you can count on the fact that it took me out. Okay. So, nice point. I don't live in fear of that. This thrill of freedom, dangerous freedom. I prefer dangerous freedom in a lot of ways. Like the risk. This is risky. Okay. Do I look like a guy who's scared to be put in a cycle? This is risky. Like streams like this is like make it a little bit easier for people to be like, Mike is crazy and paranoid, and trying to get me in the psych ward again. But I value staying up for my freedom, and that might happen sooner or later, no matter what. So I want to focus on fighting tyranny and resisting this evil, and get the word out while I can, because nobody's promised tomorrow. So especially if you're targeted with what I'm targeted with in the way I'm targeted, over time you get to a point where it becomes more momentum, more you become more aware of the fact that uh, it's like this it is okay. So whatever is the point? You can listen, you can watch and listen to the website that I was looking at, and playing some audio from Chuck Langenberg, late Tia Chuck Langenberg, by clicking the link. And like I told you, I had to warn you about Start by the Feds Lisa. I might still bring up now and then as like get the word out and critique what she's doing. Okay. But Start by the Feds, Lisa, she is a Fed as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Start by the Feds is a Fed as far as I'm concerned. Okay. So I do believe that the program got a dentist, and that's one of the examples I bring up, to poke a hole in my tooth on purpose, give me a tooth infection. And that's an infection that's very close to the brain, so it's a cause for concern if you got tooth infection. Now, thanks to God, with everything I've been doing, dental, general health practices, going to another dentist, and things like this, it's been panning out, and I didn't have something. But there's been some reminiscent of the Sosatsen program, where talks of Sosatsen receive purposely incorrect medical treatment. Okay. Talks of Sosatsen receive purposely incorrect medical treatment. Another thing I had happen is I stepped on a piece of glass. And I go to the ER. Oh, I'm such a drama queen. I'm bleeding out of my foot. And I'm not going to stitch myself up. So that means I'm not a tough guy. I'm a pussy because I'm bleeding profusely out of my foot. And I put a bandage on and it's starting to bleed through the bandage because so much pressure. And I go to the ER to get a stitch and possibly get it cleaned because it could be part of a socks that's been pushed in a fiber inside the wound. But I'm a drama queen because I went to the hospital that time. Okay, anyway, that's the point. So, yeah, obviously, I stepped on a glass bar and shot a foot shot up into my foot through the socks that maybe hadn't been washed for like, I don't know how long, okay? And the door floor was dirty. So I decided to go and get it checked out and stitches, okay, if needed, because I was expecting I need stitches, and also possibly if there's shards of glass left in the foot, if you leave it as a recipe for infection, then also there can be like fibers from your socks in there, so it might be something that needs to be removed. And if you just like cover it and don't do anything, you could have a severe infection. Like how to get a bad infection, like leave something inside of a wound and it will pass and get infected. You can get like gangrene or some weird stuff. Okay. So anyway, I went down to the hospital and they gave me like a stitch or two or whatever and cleaned it out. And then they sent me home like, hey, you can't walk on the foot. And okay, and it's like there's a guy that helped take me there, and I'm like hopping one leg and have my. They didn't send me home with crutches, so they tell me I can walk on one leg, but I didn't get crutches, so I have to improvise stuff at home. Hop around on one foot in my apartment, improvise like one of these mop handles under my, like make my own crutch and things like this. And eventually, it's like I demanded, like I requested crutches and I got them. So targets are set to receive purposely incorrect medical treatment. So this program that's reminiscent of the Stasis Rosetta program, you want to understand gang stalking, look at Rosetta. History repeats itself. So targets of Rosetta, which was a German post-World War II state persecution program, part of the targeting targets received, targeting videos of Rosetta, was purposely incorrect medical treatment. So if a target Rosetta goes to the doctor, they might have a doctor plan to be like, hey, give him a wrong prescription on purpose or something like this. Or do you understand something to hurt a person? Okay, maybe a surgeon's like, oh, they get told maybe nick a nerve when you're operating on him or something. They have an accident in surgery or something. Do you understand? So, anyway, it's the point. This is not fun and game. So it's like I'm pissed at this Stockholm Fed's Lisa that is talking about minimizing this. It's like, yeah, narcissistic abuse, and basically her view of the gang stalking is her angle. It took a while for me to figure out what her angle is, but her angle is to minimize the targeting. So it's not the common angle of bring up targeting, TIA issues, and discreditable crisis talk. Her angle seems to me, mostly at least at this moment, to bring up targeting, downplay it, and minimize it. So it's like, yeah, gang stalkers, you like limited hangout, but it's kind of narcissistic abuse and bullying. Okay, so you ain't seen nothing yet. No, 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 you ain't seen nothing yet. Okay. So if you're a real TI and all you're noticing at this point is like harassment, don't expect it to stay that way. Okay. It's like a thermostat. They're going for destructive effect and impact on her. And it's like if you figure out how to be less sensitive to the targeting, okay, they ramp it up and then eventually they go to a push and stuff like this. And here's the thing for the public record. I have spoken the truth that I'm a target individual. And I've spoken the truth that there's several Christian ministries that have taught me with so-called previously explained narcissist always abuse tactics, okay? Like shadow targeting. include but limited to veiled threats and gaslighting. So this Dula Bible Church has done this. Tom Stegall, Dennis Roxer, uh, what's his name? Philip Bormanen, okay, Poochie Jones, okay, Poochie Jones. Uh, and it is other people, I don't even remember the name, but to the Bible church, they have like a league of teachers, okay? They have like this guy this week, this guy that week. So they get paid handsomely for being ugly and like spend an hour every 3 weeks each to talk on camera and stuff like this, and like messing it up horribly, but they still get paid. So meanwhile, Mike South spends 6 hours a day live streaming without being paid a cent, including teaching Christian doctrine and how to process and be good at health as a Christian, and everything I'm doing, entertainment, infotainment, is all for free. But these lazy bums, they spend like maybe an hour every 2 weeks on camera doing public speaking as a job, as a pastor, and get paid to. But I spend 6 hours a day producing content, I would say, but I've been paid a cent, like work for free. So everything I'm doing, and it's like entertainment content, it's teaching health fitness coaching freely, it's like knife fighting instructionals, it's everything for free. And some of the most lazy people, and here's the thing too, Christian ministries is like lazy, narcissistic, greedy people a lot of times. It's like Rafi God or crap the gospel in his prayer. Another gang stalking pastor. Gang stalking means work for his program. And he shows up on YouTube like maybe an hour a week, a sermon a week or so, sometimes every 2 weeks, and they get paid. It's like that, and they're corrupting. So it's like they got a false gospel or they got a false Bible, like the Bible church. They're doing something else, like really messing up. So it's like Bible teachers, pastors hold that position, like the Bible pastor teacher. They held the highest standard. Stephen Anderson is not one of these people, and David Bursons. Okay, so I'm gonna finish up here. Okay, I feel like I'm all talked out for now. I'm gonna go do a pit stop. You might see me go live later on. A pit stop is what I mean, where it's like I sit on camera doing a stream like this, mostly no breaks if I can avoid it, and then it's like it's time to go to the kitchen, make a cup of coffee, pour up some vitamin water, and that's what I call a pit stop. Okay, you know how when they have the race at the F1 Formula One, and it's like they go in and like they change the tires and fill up with gasoline and stuff like this. So yeah, that's what I got pit stop. I'm gonna finish up. Shout out to South Lola. She's a beautiful woman. So if you like to look at attractive and agreeable women who are making entertainment streams, you can check out her channel. Okay, she's got the couch, she's got the cutesy, good vibes, happy go lucky, sweet, cutesy type of stuff. Okay, and she's a good looker. Okay, at this point. Now maybe 8 years from now, she looked like granddad Warren or something. I told her to start taking vitamin C. I recommend it to her. So if she takes my advice, she's most likely more likely to keep her good looks longer. I do believe if people are vitamin C deficient, it makes you age faster. It makes you more hurt by toxin exposure that everybody has. So if somebody is vitamin C deficient, and I believe there's a lot of people are out there, if they begin to supplement vitamin C, that will help them. So it's not good to be there. It's like this is like YouTube, where it's like I felt like I'm being held hostage every time I start talking about health fitness. It'd be like, it's like, it's like, okay, wait, understand? Don't taste me, bro. It's like I said this before and got away with it. Okay, but it's like I got a strike on a video for like warning people about some toxic exposures in the home or stuff like this. And it's like, what the hell? Okay, it kind of stops. It's like, I got a strike for this once, so I know not to talk about that. Okay, but this thing, I know that I've seen other people say this type of stuff in their streams. Okay, and do you understand? So it's like the vertical minefield. It's like, how deep can I go with the health fitness knowledge? And I can't go. This is YouTube for crying out loud. When I want to make the power punch health fitness coaches, I have to do it on Rumble. There's certain things I can't say on health fitness on YouTube. And I already have a Rumble exclusive stream. More than one, I'd say. Okay. So I'm gonna finish up now. It's all fun and games. It ain't over till Fat Lady 6. as they say. And yeah, let's keep it in the video.